bitch. Oh, excuse you? Baloney wash. I'm annoyed. I'm just here to give my opinion and carry Annie. Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Happy Thursday. And basically, for those of you tuning in for the first time, Chris Avalon Unfiltered is a show where we get in all the things going on in celebrity news, pop culture, anything going on in the world of entertainment. We chat about it on this here show. So if you can, please do me a solid and hit that like button, that subscribe button, and the notification button so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. And yeah, I'm trying to hit 2K soon, hopefully by the end of the month. So please hit that subscribe button. It would definitely mean a whole lot to me because I'm definitely trying to put a lot of energy into growing this channel. And yeah, we have a lot of topics to get to. Today we got to get into the latest going on in this whole situation with Matthew Perry and his OD. Apparently they made some arrests. So we're going to talk about that. Plus Halle Berry is opening up about that reprisal in X-Men and not X-Men, in Deadpool and Wolverine. Because I was like, wait a minute, wasn't she supposed to be in that movie? Well, she's finally talking about it. Plus, we got to talk about the Eternals. Apparently, there's no there's no talks of a sequel. So I'm gonna get my thoughts on that. Ben Affleck, we got to talk about this story. I know it's every other day we got a damn story about Hannaful. It was good that we didn't have to talk about them yesterday. But the latest story is apparently the reason why he decided to leave Miss Hannaful is because her fame and lifestyle was putting his sobriety at risk. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, the 12 nominations Beyoncé has been given for the People's Choice Country Awards. You know, we talked about that a little bit yesterday. Like I kind of just glossed over it because I didn't really have a lot of information. But upon further research, we're going to talk about that. But there was somehow there was backlash over the Cowboy Carter album. And yeah, it was. But apparently she's getting a lot of award nominations for the People's Choice Country Awards, which I never really heard of until this whole nomination came out. Probably I never heard of it because I'm not really into country music and I don't follow it like that. So that's probably why. Plus, we need to talk about, speaking of music, there's a lot of music news we got today, actually. Music fans are outraged over Billboard's greatest pop stars of the 21st century honorable mentions list. So they released the list of the people that actually made the cut, but they have they released the honorable mentions list. I think they knew that because it was going to be a whole lot of drama surrounding that. So we're going to actually go through each one and give our opinions. I'll give my opinion on it. And of course, for those of you who watch the show, y'all can definitely drop y'all comments in the show because it's a live show, and then we'll chat about that after I give my opinion on each person. So, and then one of the people who actually made the honorable mentions list, Christina Aguilera, there's another story with her where she's slamming attention over her weight loss because, you know, a lot of people have been saying she on that Ozempic, and she's revealing her feelings on that whole infamous three-way kiss that she had between her, Britney, and Madonna at the VMAs. So there's that. Plus, Usher is being dragged for postponing the opening night of his tour hours before he was set to go on stage. Nick Carter is trying to countersue one of his SA accusers. So we're going to talk about that because, you know, he's saying there's defamation of character, all that other stuff, and with how the judge ruled and all that other stuff. And then he's actually suing one of the other girls because the judge said he can't countersue one of his victims, but he's going after the other one. And we got some tea on JoJo Siwa, who said she was blackballed from Nickelodeon after coming out as a lesbian. And oh my God, I forgot to add this to the docket. There's a story we have on Demi Lovato, who said that she does not want her children pursuing fame before the age of 18, saying that she wants them basically to have a childhood. And you know what? I actually agree with her on that because I be feeling like Demi's been through a lot in the industry in regards of, you know, her coming up and her drug abuse and all that other stuff and a lot of whatever was going on in her personal life at the time. And she says that she wants her kids to have a life. And I know there's plenty of people out here who are celebrities. I don't remember which one, but I remember hearing someone else said the same thing. So there's that. And then Eureka O'Hara pretty much said she's done with Drag Race after this last elimination. So we got that and a whole lot more. So as I said before, please, if you can, hit that like button, that subscribe button, and smash that notification button so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I'm literally trying to edit because I forgot to add the the Demi Lovato story. Was she here now? Yeah, it's there. I had to make sure I had to add that the lower third. You said sorry, we were talking about you late. Child, I was late too. And that's because I pretty much had the show together, but I was um I was trying to add the other like the lower thirds and stuff like in regards to like the topics and stuff when y'all read. But yeah, it's funny how she trying to come out with a new song with her and Bruno Mars. We'll see how well that does. And yeah, tomorrow's Madonna's birthday. I think today is Ben Affleck's birthday. And we're gonna be talking about him in the show, obviously. But yeah, today is, I believe, Ben's birthday. It's in my understanding anybody debuting 2010 gets the honorable mention. Eligible was to begin in the 2000s. Is it because Britney made it because she came out in like when did Britney come out? Like 98, 99? And when did Christina come out? Like a year or two later? So that's probably why they're saying like the fact of you have to be from well, they said of the 21st century. So when the 21st century actually started was like 2000. That's the 21st century. So are they trying to do people before? Oh, wait, they said 21st century. Wait, no, 21st century is 2000. 20th century was before 2000. So I would think they're saying 21st century. Wouldn't y'all be including people that came after that period? Like, I'm confused. Taylor Swift, Michael Jackson, and now looking back at the curse that they think is real of child stars being stuck at the age of their fame as a sign of trauma. Michael was much worse because he got stuck. Well, Michael was a musician at 6. But I think he was 6 years old. They said Genie in the Bottle came out in 99. So that's why I'm like, she should be included because Christina she came before the 20th century. 21st century. 20th century was before 2000. The 21st century started in the year 2000. The minute, when they all thought the world was coming to an end and you saw a lot of visuals and looks and all other stuff. Sure, get off my line with this fool's in the Elton damn John. Billboard, y'all about to be just like Rolling Stone in regards to y'all stupid freaking lists and titles and things. Like y'all just be trying to do this shit to get us mad. But anyway, let me hit my banner before I forget, because I always forget. I always hit it. Let me forget it. And let's get to our first topic, which is basically the latest on this whole Matthew Perry situation. So 5 people are now facing federal charges and a connection to Matthew Perry's death from acute effects of ketamine, according to a new report. Now, according to the Daily Mail, because this is where I got the story from, the unnamed medic and narcotics pushers, come on, they a bunch of pusher men, were apprehended over claims they gave the friend star ketamine, as they were called Special K, that killed him on in October of last year. So he died like in 2023. In October this year, it'll make a year that he's been gone. And this is according to TMZ. They said the identity of those taken into police custody have not been formally disclosed, but the New York Times named Jasveen Sangha as one of the people arrested. It's unclear if they have been charged. Now, as y'all remember that Matthew Perry, what had happened to him is that he was found unresponsive in his bathtub. Well, not bathtub, it was the hot tub chair. So he was outside in the hot tub, and people were sitting there wondering, okay, so apparently, because he was clean at one point, and then he apparently, I guess, relapsed. But isn't this the same thing that they did with Michael K. Williams? Where Michael K. Williams was sold some, I think, heroin, and it was laced with the Fenty, and they wound up arresting the dealer. So these days, this is why I don't mess with drugs. Like back in the day when like the 2000s and that sort of thing, when the booger sugar and everything else was pure, well, that we knew of. Now y'all be putting roach repellent and stuff up in things. Y'all be putting fentanyl and stuff. It's like nothing is like really like can get you like that natural high. It's now like we ain't doing that Tony Montana, Booger Sugar. Now it's just like y'all putting all kinds of crazy stuff in there. You're putting like baby powder and rat poison in, all kind of mess. And this is why people's noses is like falling off, and the bridge in their nose is kind of melting away, and people dying just with a little drop of Fenty and they drugs. This is why I just stick with alcohol and them pre-rolls when I go to the weed spot. Not a drug dealer, but like now the dispensaries. Because the shit that y'all be putting in these drugs now, I like life. So multiple law enforcement agencies have carried out searches, seizing computers, phones, and other devices to try to establish which of the suspects was responsible for giving Perry the fatal overdose, or fatal dose, I should say. Now, because he fatally overdosed, apparently. Now, federal charges have been filed and will be announced at a press conference later today with the U.S. Attorney for L.A. and the head of the DEA, reports ABC. Now, Los Angeles police said that in May, they were working with the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration and the U.S. Postal Inspection Service with a probe. It previously emerged that Charlie Sheen's ex-wife, Brooke Mueller, was among those who had been interviewed multiple times by LAPD in relation to the death. However, she has not been named as one of those arrested, per TMZ. Now, Mueller and Perry reportedly bonded during a stint in rehab. She has remained adamant that she had nothing to do with her friend's death. The outlet also reports the search warrant uncovered text messages discussing Perry and the ketamine he wanted, including how much he would pay for it. The investigation additionally is said to have revealed other celebrities connected to the drug scene. Child, they're about to pull other celebrities up in this mess. But hold on, because I want to show y'all the amount of drugs that they seized from Jasmine Sanga. Because when I saw this piece of chair, I gagged. Please hold. Yeah, so that's the drugs that the DEA and everybody sees from them people. See this, and this also reminds me of the whole Michael Jackson situation. Remember when he had that, what was it, the propofol and the thing, and then they had his drug deal or whatever. Well, I guess now when you really look at some of these MDs, these people that actually went to school to become a doctor, how they be pushing behind the scenes prescription medications or all kinds of other things on their patients, and how they take these little deals where it's like, oh, as a celebrity, and celebrities have all this money and access, and they believe that, what, I should be able to get what I want at any time, and these doctors will look the other way because they want to make a little extra money, you know or behind the scenes, outside of the amount of money that they make as a doctor or in the medical field. They also said that local police and Drug Enforcement Administration agents interviewed some key people in Hollywood who are known drug users. Well, goddamn. Well, if we think about it, don't they say like everybody pretty much in Hollywood does drugs? That's how a lot of y'all, get around in y'all career. That a lot of y'all have habits and things and that y'all do. That they was like everybody do cocaine. Beloved actor Perry had been receiving prescribed ketamine therapy to treat his anxiety and depression, but he had not had one of those treatments for a week and a half prior to his death. That means the ketamine found in his system after he drowned in a hot tub in his LA home had not been prescribed. Perry's at the age of 54 shocked the world. An autopsy attributed his death to the acute effects of ketamine. And I wonder if it had anything to do, because they said that he was receiving prescribed ketamine therapy to treat his anxiety and depression. First of all, I didn't even know that you could use ketamine to treat anxiety and depression, that sort of thing. This is why I'd be so scared to take chemicals and all the other stuff, because I don't be knowing what, I don't know. I feel like for me personally, like if I want to go through my periods of like I binge and I want to have fun and let go, I will do that. But for the most part, I love being in control so damn much that I just don't like doing drugs in that way, because that's a sense of I'm relinquishing control and letting go and letting other things have control over me, where I like to control everything around me. I know you can't control everything around you, but I can control this physical being because it's mine. But it kind of makes me wonder also, like with him doing that, and they said that he hadn't had a treatment in a week and a half. I wonder if his body was going through withdrawal, because I don't know what the side effects of ketamine could be. But I'm wondering if there was a withdrawal type situation, and then somebody wasn't prescribing it for him or whatever the case was. And what happened was he went to a drug dealer Because in Hollywood, trust and believe, you make a phone call, even if you don't know any drug dealers, trust and believe there will be somebody within Hollywood that will introduce you to who you need to get what from that person, whatever the drug is. So I wonder if it was a withdrawal thing, and then when he actually was like he needed to put that drug in his system, his body went into some sort of a shock. And then on top of that, how does ketamine react to the body if you're also in a hot tub while high? So I wonder about that too. But they said the amount in his blood was in the range used for general anesthesia during surgery. It was listed as the primary cause of death, which was ruled an accident with no foul play suspected. The actor had been open about his struggles with substance abuse. And I also wonder if did he supply the ketamine himself or did he have somebody give it to him? He also said in 2022 that he said basically he estimated he spent $9 million battling his addictions across 15 rehab stays. That's a lot of damn money. So it goes on and on and on. And I will say this. Um, they did say that what is going to happen is they're going to make a press conference later on today. I don't know if it's happening while we're doing the show. I will definitely look into it and provide you guys with more information on this. Excuse me, as the story develops. So I'll if anything, if I hear anything by later today or whatever, I'll bring more information to you guys tomorrow and we'll expand on what we know so far. But they did mention in here, because it's funny how I was talking about, I didn't read the article. It's like I just pulled it and I was just giving my immediate thoughts. They mentioned the whole Michael Jackson and Michael K. Williams T in the article. Because they said, following Michael Jackson's 2009 death, his physician, Dr. Conrad Murray, was found guilty of involuntary manslaughter after providing him with a lethal dose of propofol. And in 2021, prosecutors in New York brought charges against 4 men who supplied the Wire actor Michael K. Williams with Fenty-laced heroin. So it's like, well, y'all be out here buying these street drugs and these drugs from whoever. You leave yourself open for the possibility that these people are giving you something laced with something that is not necessarily pure. But I guess when it comes to drugs, there's always a risk that you can possibly OD and that would happen, and then there's nothing you can it's just all about getting that high. You just need to get that feeling out of your system of the pain and all this stuff, which is why when you see people going through them heroin withdrawals, that's a lot. So it's sad that this is what Matthew Perry had to endure. Even I wasn't really a Friends fan. The many a times that I did catch the show, he was like one of the characters that I liked on the show. Him and Joey, I always liked them too. But other than that, it was just like, yeah, this is just a sad thing. And I really hope that they could figure out a way to really regulate this whole, these drug things and try to, we have a big damn drug crisis in the United States that we need to get nipping the damn bud. But I don't see anything happening where they're going to fix the situation. So I'll say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay. So we have comments. It says, so Brooke Mueller wasn't charged because I know she was with him not long before he died. Well, look, they said they didn't find no evidence of her possibly having anything to do with his unaliving. Then I guess we just got to take their word for it. But I guess they couldn't find anything. Child, I remember that. The pictures of the bathroom. I forgot who actually had how those pictures came about. I think it had to do with Whitney's sister-in-law or something or another, a family member, somebody leaked those pictures and sold it to the tabloids. I forget how those pictures got out. They said they also said Matthew smoked 2 packs of cigarettes a day, plus he drank and he had. Well, you want to know something? When you put all that stuff in your system, you could put a shock on your body and your heart. Because I remember, I forgot that, yeah, he was smoking. And plus, he wasn't like in the best shape. Like when you looked at him, he looked like he had stopped taking care of himself. physically, and then you're putting all that nasty shit in your system, like you're smoking all those cigarettes, and you were, you had out and you were drinking alcohol, and you're taking special care. Like, you're gonna put your heart in shock. Your body is gonna give out when you put in too much of that, those things, those unnatural chemicals in your body. Like, child, I'm hearing stories now, and I didn't even know this. They talking about Teresa Giudice be out here chain smoking. Like, she chain smoking because Louis Ruelas got her stressed the fuck out. And instead of her dealing with the situation and putting that I'm a loyal old school Italian BS to the side, now she out here damn near about to end up with some damn lung cancer, smoking all them damn cigarettes and smoking like a chimney. It ain't worth it. The people ain't worth it. The stress ain't worth you putting your own health at risk. And so there's a documentary about a little girl named Maya Kowalski who was given ketamine because she was in extreme pain for years. And what happened with that? Like, what were the effects of that? He said it was Bobby's sister. Probably. I think it was. It was probably Bobby's sister that took the picture of their crack den and sold it to the tabloids. It's fucked up. It's, I guess, sometimes when you in desperate need of money. All right, so let's move on and let's move to our next topic, which is Miss Berry. Oh yeah, I thought I messed up. Wait, where's my hold on. Oh, no, I don't want to do that. I'm trying to move this thing down. Sometimes when it comes to doing this show, I mean, it's confusing how you can move these things down with the topics, because it's like now I lost where'd it go? Oh, I see it. Hold on. Live TV. Oh, live TV, live show. I don't know why this thing is not moving. Okay, I got it. I'll just figure it out. But anyway, let's move on to our next topic. And let's talk about Miss Berry, who, from what I recall, I remember when they were revealing all the cameos and stuff for Deadpool and Wolverine. There was so much speculation of who was going to be in the movie, who wasn't going to be in the movie, who shot footage, who didn't shoot footage. Like, I remember hearing stories that Halle Berry was supposed to be in the film, that she had shot her cameo, and also I remember hearing James Marsden and Cyclops was supposed to be in the movie. Well, come to find out, because Halle Berry is promoting her new movie, I forget what it's called, but it will probably tell me when I read the article. She was promoting her new movie that's going to be on Netflix tomorrow, I believe, with Mark Wahlberg. She was like, she was supposed to be in the movie. She wanted to be in the movie. She ran into Blake Lively, who is Ryan Reynolds' wife, and she wanted to be in the movie. She was like, "Are you going to be in the film?" And she was like, "Well, if Ryan wants me in it, I'll be down to reprise my role once again as Storm." But she said she never heard from him. So, on the red carpet premiere for her new film, The Union, Berry revealed to Comic Book whether she'd been asked to reprise her iconic role as Aurora Monroe, better known as Storm, in the Marvel cameo-packed Deadpool and Wolverine. She said no. Um, Berry added that star Ryan Reynolds' wife Blake Lively, who herself cameos incognito as Lady Deadpool, asked me one time. The Oscar winner explained that she ran into Lively at a Marc Jacobs fashion show where she says Lively asked if I would ever be in my husband's movie as Storm. She said, yeah, if he asked me, but he never asked me. Now, reps for Barry Reynolds, Lively, and Disney, Marvel's parent company, didn't immediately respond to Entertainment Weekly's request for comment. Now, it's surprising that Reynolds, who also helped produce and co-wrote the film, couldn't call on Barry. She's one of the biggest stars to ever don a supersuit for the X-Men films. Her character had an involved personal relationship with Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, which could have been tapped for added dramatic tension, and seemed entirely willing to take the plunge. And that's what I was thinking too. I was like, wait a minute. Yeah, because if you ever watch all the other X-Men films, like her character definitely had those emotional arcs with Logan in a lot of the scenes. So their camaraderie together and that chemistry definitely would have worked for the film. So I feel like Ryan missed out on the thing. I guess he wanted to spend the whole movie, spend half the film trying to fuck Hugh Jackman's character, that he didn't really tap into that, because that would have been really cool to have, like, not only Elektra and all those other people, but you could have had her probably in that world that they were in, that they were trying to get out of, where she's probably like, well, when they were killing off all the members of the X-Men and he wasn't there, and so he felt guilt, and then he started drinking away his woes, that there could have been a moment where it's sort of like him and Storm have this conversation where he could learn to forgive himself. It would have been nice for them to kind of play up into that, because he was beating himself up over him failing the X-Men in that universe. So they said storm chasers will have to content themselves. Wait, y'all call them storm chasers? That's clever, actually. Storm chasers will have to content themselves to Barry's 4 film appearances in the original X-Men, which came out in 2000, X2, X-Men United in 2003, X-Men The Last Stand, which came out in 2006, and X-Men Days of Future Past, which is actually, besides X2, Days of Future Past is like one of my all-time favorite X-Men movies. They said the character was killed in the final film, but quickly revived by Patrick Stewart's Professor X. There was speculation of a Young Storm prequel film featuring Lupita Nyong'o for some time, but like Channing Tatum's Shell Gambit prequel, nothing materialized. Now, Lupita playing Storm, bitch, that would have been iconic. But it kind of makes me think now, because if we got to think younger, and we already know that they're going to develop an X-Men reboot for the MCU, I'm literally trying to think, who would they pick to play this generation Storm? The one that I keep settling on that I actually like, and I cannot remember her name. Um, the woman, the actress that was married to Joshua Jackson, I think her name was Jodie Turner Smith. I would love to see her play Storm. She's a good actress. I actually like her. She's beautiful. Love her skin tone. And I feel like she would become the closest. And I actually liked her when she was in the last James Bond movie. What was it called? No Time to Die. I liked her when she was in that. So I would love to see her play on that part. First of all, could we take a moment and just give it up for this outfit? Like, Halle is in her mid-50s, and look how snatched that body is, and she still looks youthful. But anyway, so they said, what else? Well, we already know all the different cameos and stuff up in there. I don't want to really go in and like start spoiling anymore. But here's the thing. Somebody also said Matthew McConaughey was in Deadpool as a cowboy variant of Wolverine. I'm like, did I miss that? I'm gonna have to watch that damn movie again, because I believe there was a lot of cameos going on in there that I actually did miss, because I think I was so focused on the jokes and everything that was going on that when they actually did show other cameos, it took me a minute to like really see who was where and who was in the film. So I have to like take the time to actually rewatch the film again. And I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna wait until I'm not going to the movies to see it again. I'm gonna wait until it comes out on um like when I can purchase it, so VOD, whatever the case is, and then I'm gonna just rewatch the cameos and all that other stuff. So I saw this say, it's an unfortunate missed opportunity that she didn't get to be a part of the franchise, that she didn't get to be in this new film. And I'm actually looking forward to seeing this movie, The Union. Even though I don't particularly care for Mark Wahlberg, I will definitely be checking out The Union when it drops tomorrow. There's a lot of stuff coming out tomorrow. I think Furiosa also comes out on Max. And even though I saw that in the theater, I may actually do myself a double feature and watch. I think I'm gonna watch the Furiosa and then watch the one with Charlize Theron, because then she'll be older. So I think I'm gonna do a back-to-back situation. And with this whole thing, it's like, I like Halle Berry. And you want to know something also? What's going on with that movie that she's supposed, that action film? Because she's been doing a lot of action movies lately, which I think is good, because I've always wanted to see Halle in that light. Look, we still been waiting for that damn Jinx movie spinoff that she was supposed to get, because she was the best part of that Die Another Day movie. Like, Die Another Day wasn't a good film. It wasn't the best. I mean, it's watchable. It wasn't like the best of the Bond franchise. I feel like y'all were a little over the top with all the gadgets and everything that was going on. It was ridiculous. I live for Madonna's cameo. And also I live for Halle Berry being a part of that film. And then when she comes out of the water with the little knife in the bikini and that whole sort of thing, it was like she gave me my life with that. And I think she did what she needed to be would need to be done with that role. But I'm also, now that she's old, I want to see her in more action. So even though she be talking about all the bones she broke, because she did mention that when she did an interview promoting this new movie, The Union. She was about all the things that she broke from making the movies. Because I remember when she did John Wick, she had injuries. I'm like, damn girl, you gotta try to kill yourself to play this. But look, she was convincing that Sophia, and I really hope that they decide to give her a spin-off, her character a spin-off, because her backstory and everything I live for in that film. Also, what's going on with the movie she's supposed to be doing, Maud v. Maud, with Angelina Jolie? They're supposed to be playing spies in a film together. So I hope that that film is going to be coming to fruition, and we'll be seeing Halle Berry in more really cool action-oriented type movies. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Would you guys have loved to have seen Halle Berry reprise her role as Storm in Deadpool and Wolverine? Like we've seen Hugh Jackman play the character so many damn times. Do you think like they could have found a way as, writers to find a way to bring her in? Because I was really expecting to see a lot of those old school X-Men cameos, or at least even the scene where they were talking about that they were killing off a lot of the X-Men, and when they were talking about like the whole thing with that variant of Wolverine. I thought we would have seen that scene play out and not just be based off of dialogue. And so we would just have to imagine what had happened. So in my opinion, I would have loved to have seen Halle, but I want to hear if you guys wanted to see her in the film as well. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. He said, the union. Yeah, I was like, yeah, somebody had to tell me because I couldn't remember. So I want to get Max regular premium. I just need to know, is it like Peacock regular premium with ads? I have no idea because I could have sworn at one point I was going to do Max with ads and I had signed up for Max with ads, but it still was ad free. So I was confused by that whole situation. So I have no idea. But now because I did the new bundle with Disney Plus, Max, and Hulu, I still don't have ads, whatever. And right now I'm paying like $17 for that for the next couple of months. And then it's supposed to go up to $30 for all three together. It would have been cool to see her in it, but where would they have had her? Good question. But also I was saying like you could have had her in that part where she was in that damn, I forget what the world is called, but in that world where they got banished to, you could have had her be like she was stuck there or something or another. Or I thought at some point she was gonna try to find a way to rescue them out of that world. So I don't know. In regards to the writing, they would have to figure that out. Or you could have had her in that moment where Cassandra Nova sticks her fingers in his head. And since if they paid attention throughout the X-Men movies, since Storm was always that voice of reason for Logan, you could have had her pretend to be, disguise herself as Storm to kind of get through to him and all that other stuff and have that moment of like, oh, this is not something she would say. I don't know. You could have figured out something to work with in that whole context to bring her in. But then again, some people have been, oh, it just feels like fan service. So I don't know, but look, I'm not the writer. But the writers could have figured it out. They had enough of them on that damn movie. It said there was one with a cowboy hat, but I didn't know that was. Yeah, I was like, I didn't know that was Matthew McConaughey. I mean, did they show his face? But I mean, and then it took me a second to realize when Henry Cavill was in it. Jinx was canceled due to the combined failure of both Tomb Raider and Charlie's Angels sequels. But I'm like, what did she have to do with the fact of those movies? The fact of the matter was Charlie's Angels wasn't good. The first one was good. The one with Demi Moore wasn't that good. The first Tomb Raider I liked. The second Tomb Raider with Daniel Craig, I didn't particularly care for. So it's just like the first film was good, but then when y'all came along with the sequels just went so far left of what you created with the first movie. I think it just turned off a lot of us from wanting to see them because I did think that the one with Demi Moore, that Charlie's Angels Full Throttle. I just thought that movie was ridiculous. Y'all kind of went beyond what it was. I feel like y'all took the things that we loved about the film and just overly exaggerated it for no reason. I would have loved the solo film too. It's the last Charlie's Angels movie is not good, and even the remake that they did with Kristen Stewart, I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? And it said thank you, it was the Void. That's why I was like, they could have found a way to bring her into the Void. She could have been too powerful. What, too powerful for the Void? That's why I was like, there were certain things that happened in that film that I was just like, y'all really need to cut a lot of that out. Like with the scene of him digging up um Wolverine. But I guess that they needed to do certain things to get us to where we needed to go. But I was like, look, I enjoyed the film for what it was. They could have found a way to bring her up in there. But I don't know. I guess they wanted to make the main focus Deadpool and Wolverine and not have all these other people in here. It's like, but I did like the idea that they took other characters that were in the void, like Blade, Elektra, X-23, and Gambit, and bring them in and have them, because I feel like besides X-23, because she got her just due in Logan. But the other characters, like Elektra, the movie was not a good film. It's terrible. I remember I went to the movies to see that and I was disappointed. Elektra was terrible, but because I love Jennifer Garner, that was the only reason why I went to go see it, because I loved Alias. Alias is like one of my favorite shows on TV until like the last two seasons. They kind of went off the rails. But other than that, like the first couple of seasons, Alias is excellent. Especially her scene with Evil Francie, bitch, and that fight scene in the house. That scene was iconic. But anyway, Francie doesn't like coffee ice cream. It was like, and then they got into the whole fight sequence. I was like, oh yes, bitch. It was like giving me my life. So I went to see that in the movies, disappointed. And um, then it was like Blade Trinity was terrible. So Blade got his redemption. Elektra got her redemption. Gambit was supposed to get a movie, never happened because of the whole change up with 20th Century Fox and Disney. So he didn't get to have his justice, but he got his rocks off in this movie. X-23, we already know what she gave because she was in Logan, and everybody loves Logan. I love Logan. It's like one of my favorite X-Men solo films. All the other ones, I'm like, whatever. I like the one, I thought the one that was okay was when he goes to Japan. That was a cute one, but Logan is like, I feel like the perfect solo Wolverine movie. All the other ones was trash, in my opinion. I didn't think they were all good. So I feel like everybody got their just due it there. So as I think of it is. Oh yeah, well so she does control the weather. So she could have controlled all the stuff that was going on in the void. She would have been too powerful. It would have been a good scene. It would have been good to see her fight Cassandra Nova, though. The only thing that still gets me pissed is because I be feeling like Storm is all powerful. But how the hell she get her ass beat in the last stand? That still irritates me to this day. How she still get her behind beat? What was the character's name that beat her behind? Was it Callisto? Was it Danya Ramirez? I was like, child, now you know damn well Storm would not have gotten her behind beat like that. Nah, I get it. Get a couple of licks in. Like, that's more realistic. Because I can't stand when I watch movies with big name characters. Well, not even just superheroes, but like action stars, like Vin Diesel. I hate watching movies with him because it's like, oh, it's just, he can't get his ass beat. Like, come on. Oh, he could lift a whole car by himself. You ain't no damn superhero. Or whenever he gets in a fight, he always got to make sure. I mean, I can understand like you have to make sure that you beat them up in the end, but you got to get beat up a couple of times, like get thrown across the room. That's why I like what the hell is his name? Jason Statham. You know, he get his licks and they get licks into him. So that's why I be liking some of the actors that be doing that. I hate when actors like, well, I have a no get beat up in my claws thing. I'm like, shut up. You probably the type to get your ass beat in real life, but on camera you want to prove that you superhuman. I believe you love so look. Finally, we know something Adrian likes because he don't like anything else, but he loves Storm. We found something you like, so I look forward to seeing how they portray her. Well, they better do her justice because the way that Bryan Singer and a whole bunch of other people, the way she's been written over the years, it has pissed me off the way they be handling Storm. Okay, so now let's go on from one superhero to another, and let's talk about we talked about Deadpool, Wolverine. Excuse me. Let's get into the Eternals. So, a sequel to ensemble superhero movie Eternals, which featured Brian Tyree Henry as the Marvel Cinematic Universe's first "How you doing" hero, is not being considered. Now, Henry played Phastos, an Eternal with the ability to invent advanced technological marvels, and was one half of a same-sex relationship with a child played by openly gay actor Haas Slayman and Esai Daniel Cross, respectively. But according to Variety, interview with Game of Thrones star Kit Harington, who played Dane Whitman, the Eternals are less, well, eternal than might have been expected. The article notes that although the film ended with a classic Marvel line indicating the Eternals will return, well, they always say that. Marvel is reportedly not developing a sequel at this time. Well, guess what? Not only is Eternals being affected, but I've been hearing some tea that Shang-Chi is also not getting a sequel. And here's the thing, Shang-Chi, I believe, did way better at the box office than Eternals. But y'all not giving that a movie? Like, what the hell's going on? So they said, according to comic book news, Disney CEO Bob Iger said that the Eternal sequel, Eternal sequel would be a guaranteed flop, which is based on a report from industry scooper Daniel RBK. Now, Daniel RBK, he is somebody who gets a lot of scoops in the industry. Him and what is his name? That does the Schneider report. He also gets a lot of really good scoops. Sometimes he's right. I mean, sometimes he's wrong, but mostly he's always on it when it comes to stuff. And Daniel RPK is usually on it when it comes to the tea, when it comes to, stuff that's going on the inside of the industry. So they basically said that the film grossed 402 million. That would be 313 million pounds worldwide, with homophobic trolls review bombing it because of the inclusion of a gay hero and his queer family. And I'm sorry, but you want to know something? A lot of you people out here who have a problem with the fact that gay characters exist, black characters exist, women characters exist. I'm sorry, but when it comes to superheroes, it's diverse. Y'all really gonna cook y'all noodle. This is another thing that irritates me, and bringing it back to the X-Men, which we talked about in the last topic. The fact that people getting mad about X-Men is woke. I'm like, where the fuck have y'all been? Like, do you even know what the hell woke means? That's how stupid you sound. X-Men has always been about going against the establishment, and they're how the X-Men are othered, and how society wants to deny them basic human rights because they're mutants. That has always been a code for what gay people, people of color, and women have to have dealt with their entire lives. So when people say X-Men is woke, I be having a laugh. I'm like, have you ever read a comic, let alone an X-Men comic? So they also said that Marvel has not had the best relationship with LGBTQ plus fans. The recent Deadpool and Wolverine sparked a backlash for repeated frat boy gay jokes, while the queer characters are often reduced to blink and you miss it moments. Well, yeah, that is true, and that's another thing that I be hating too, is the fact that um, y'all kind of do gloss over. Oh, we'll mention they're gay, but they can't be gay. And I'm not saying that we need a scene of like a gay superhero eating some random dude's ass. I'm not saying y'all need to put that in the movie. However, I'm a superhero, but I have a husband and I have children and I'm just regular schmegula. But when it's time to go save the world, I could do that. And why can't we see that representation? We're not necessarily saying that you got to show us fucking. Y'all don't be doing that when it comes to straight people. So it's not always a requirement with us. We know we fuck just like y'all do. But we're not saying they got to be incorporated into the thing. But there should be that inclination that we are included in situations. So if everybody else can have an opportunity to be there, it's like white people always want to be the only ones, white males, so that they the only ones that want to be out here represented. But also, they did set up Kit Harington to play Black Knight in a future Blade movie. But at this point, with so many rewrites and so many writers coming in and so many directors being changed, we don't even know who's directing the next Blade movie. I don't even know if his character will even be brought in. And let's not also forget, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 introduced a queer hero in its end credits, but she didn't make an appearance. I also believe, damn, I forget what the name, which movie was it? But wasn't one of the Russo brothers cast as a gay character? I think it wasn't Endgame that he was that he played a gay character in like a therapy session, if I'm not mistaken. So here's the thing. As much as it was cool to see some queer diversity in Eternals, and we got to see a gay character with a husband and a child, I don't think, in my opinion, I do not feel that Eternals was a good movie. I didn't really enjoy it all that much. I watched it one time. I felt like it was too long. I was kind of bored. It was taking too long to build up. Maybe I need to watch it again and give it a chance. But I feel like overall, I wasn't really that excited about, you know, the film. So I'm also trying to remember because we talked about it. Excuse me. We also talked about it on this show before. How and hopefully the DCU will do better because the MCU they be so scared to hit hot button topics. With me, I always feel like James Gunn is always someone who's not scared to push the envelope. I'm not saying that he's gonna have sex scenes and stuff with gay characters in his upcoming DCU, but he's not afraid to actually go there and bring a little diversity to his universe. Because we did talk about it on the show before, how remember in the Authority, which I believe they're supposed to be developing a film based on the Authority, which is like a group of misfits, like they're like the Justice League, but a little more edgier. And they're sort of like a parody of them. So it's like superpower vigilantes, which they basically will go through any means necessary to make the world a better place. So, you'll probably it kind of has like to tonally describe them, it's like the boys, but a little less Trump supporter parody-ish. So it's sort of like they're like a team of misfits that'll go above and beyond to get the job done. So it's like they'll punch holes through the face of another superhero, or they'll brutally murder dictators and that sort of thing. So they go ham. And I actually would love to see that because often I feel like, especially with the MCU, they always have to have this sort of moral compass. With the DCU, I feel like y'all can kind of go a little edgier and dark or a little left depending on the superhero thing. So basically, the two characters that they have that are part of the Authority are called Midnight and Apollo. And they're basically like their version of Batman and Superman. But I will say this, Midnight and Apollo are more violent and they're married. So it would be actually cool, I feel like, to take on seeing two superhero characters that are a parody version of Batman and Superman. Because when you watch The Boys, you do see like you get those type of characters in like there's a version of Aquaman, which is the Deep, or you have their version of the Flash, or Jensen Ackles kind of played their version of Captain America, but he was twisted. I believe that he's supposed to be getting a spinoff, actually, if I'm not mistaken. They're making a spinoff character of his character a spin-off show of his character that he played in the last season, boy, not the one that just ended, the season before that. And they're supposed to be doing it, I believe, over at Prime Video. But anyway, so with this, it was like when I'm hearing about with the Authority, I'm actually looking forward to seeing what they do with that, and if they actually develop that and they actually go there with those characters. And who'll probably be perfect to play the Apollo, which I believe is a Superman character. I think they should choose Matt Bomer because one, he's openly gay. Two, he was supposed to play Superman at one point, but that never happened. And he actually, I think they said because he was gay, that'd be the ultimate revenge because a full circle moment. Plus, he's openly gay. You can have him play that character, and he kind of looks like a Superman. He looks like Superman. Like when you look at his good looks, the hair, all the other stuff. You can play that character. He can put on a little weight. He's a little slender, but he can put on that weight. But yes, so definitely I'm looking forward to seeing um the Authority. But I am disappointed in a way that we're not getting a sequel to the Eternals. But then again, like I said, I'm not surprised because to me, I felt like the Eternals was okay, but I don't feel like it was all so exciting that people like, even if they decided to be like, you know what, we're developing an Eternals movie. I feel like the general public are just sort of like for why. Like, it wasn't even that good of a film in the first place. So, or it wasn't like on the level of like a Captain America Civil War or Endgame or Iron Man 1 and 2, not 3. So it isn't, I don't think it'll get people excited. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Are you all disappointed that Eternals is not coming back? Or is it the fact that, okay, you're not surprised? What I am surprised about is that we're not getting a Shang-Chi. Now, Shang-Chi I actually enjoyed, and I really wish that they were going to give us a sequel to that. And like I said, with James Gunn's universe, I'm excited for his Superman, but I'm also excited to see what they're going to do with the Authority. So, and what I will say is that with the comic, with the Authority, they never tried to downplay Midnighter and Apollo's sexuality. So if they didn't downplay it there, y'all don't need to downplay that shit on the damn screen. Like, we're not going to do that. And if the trolls want to say what they're going to say, they're going to say what they're going to say regardless. Who gives a fuck? They don't need to come to the movies and see it. But there's millions of other people that would definitely want to see these characters play out and are comfortable enough in their sexuality that they could handle seeing queer superheroes on the big screen. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, so we have comments, per usual. Okay, it said Milo was given permission to say the N-word by Ye for X-rated reasons. Who cares about some tight-ass Milo Yiannopoulos? That old tight-ass queen. That, speaking of somebody that need to come out, I'm gonna stop hiding away from the fact of the deal. I get it. Because we know you are. And it's funny how you getting permission from a damn lunatic. Like, get off my line. The shade. I liked her in Days of Future Past. Was one of the best X-Men. I also like Boo Boo Stewart in that too, because Boo Boo's a cutie. That's probably why. It was good in that movie too. Whatever happened to him? I like that he's really been embracing. I don't think he's ever shied away from it, but he looks more and more indigenous. I think it's because he let his hair grow out. One of the main complaints I heard about Eternals, that was another thing. I think that it was too long, it dragged out, it took forever to get to the action, and I felt like the actors did what needed to be done in there. Like, we had Richard Madden, fine ass up in there. We had Angelina Jolie, skinny ass up in there, and I like Brian Tyree Henry. I actually like Brian Tyree Henry when he was in the last what is it, Godzilla versus Kong movie. He was good in that. So literally all comic books are political in its content. But it's funny how it's like these people don't understand that when you look at stuff like comic books are. I hate when they bring politics and stuff. I'm like, are you dense? Like, you clearly are somebody who does not pay attention to politics, or probably just doesn't observe the world around you. But if you really was paying attention, you would know that comic books are political. There's a lot of political content in a lot of comic books that you watch. There's politics in The Punisher. There's politics in X-Men. There's politics in Daredevil. There's politics in a lot of these comics. Like, they just go to show y'all just be walking around oblivious. I don't understand people that can just walk through the world, in a haze or like a fog over their eyes and their brain. And it's like, until it's in your face where you can't have no choice but to, when you can no longer avoid it, then it's like, whoa, okay, we're being, whoa. It's like, eat a dick. I was like, well, I'm glad somebody did. I said it was a good film. People just have short attention span and just love. Look, now a movie that was terrible. I will say this: it was better than that last that Quantumania movie. Now that movie was terrible. The Ant-Man and the Wasp. That movie was terrible. What I heard is due to Shang-Chi being banned in China. Well, look, China ain't the end all be all. There's a lot of movies that don't get played in China and still do well. So if China gonna be acting like that, I don't understand. Not a bunch of Chads let out a sigh of air. Chads and Chelseas. All right, so let's move on. Let's talk about Jennifer. I always have to start that line. It's like my go-to. Because apparently their relationship has been, the talk of the town lately, obviously, because I've been talking about these damn two. It seemed like since the announcement of their separation, which I can't even remember when that started. It's probably been like a good 3 months since the beginning of the summer. Or maybe it was longer than that because people started noticing they were separated around March. And wasn't that shortly after she did that This Is Me Now movie, musical, documentary, the album, that whole rollout, roll out, roll out. So, um, so yeah, so it was, with all of that, but now they're talking about Hollywood sources are spilling the tea on a long gestating divorce. Now, word on the street is that the reason why he decided to separate from Jennifer is due to him trying to protect his sobriety. Which is funny because I could have sworn that we was up in here talking about that. Remember when she dropped that Delulu liquor line, and we was sitting there being like, I remember people in the comments, and even me in my own brain, because I be thinking about 50 million things at once, and I had to snatch one of the thoughts and like hold it in my brain. 'Cause my thoughts be doing that all day. So if y'all spend 5 minutes in my head, y'all probably be like, what the fuck? But what she was what they're basically saying, like, wait a minute, how'd you come out with the Delulu liquor line and you got a whole husband who has substance abuse addiction? Like, he's an alcoholic. He has been in rehab plenty of times, and here you coming out. Remember, she said, I don't drink. I'm not a drinker. But you sell a liquor, which goes to show that you ain't nothing more than a, could we refer to Hennifer as a grifter? Kind of like Donald Trump, like, y'all will do anything for a coin. Y'all will do anything to get people to buy your products. So she's like in that way. And it's like, well, wait a minute. If you're not a drinker, why are you making alcoholic beverages? Now she's trying to backpedal and talk about she is I drink on occasion. Sure, sis. Just like you design probably all the damn clothes that you be wearing from that J-Lo clothing line. Is that line still around? Or is that long gone and now she into the beauty products? So Radar Online can reveal that Affleck, who's 52 now, because today is his birthday, apparently quit his marriage to Jennifer, who's 55, because her glam lifestyle was putting his sobriety at risk. Now, according to a source, they said the marriage was incredibly overwhelming. Jennifer lives a very glam lifestyle, and he was often faced with temptation. Temptation is a part of life. It doesn't matter if it's wrong or right. Shout out to Karina. That song had to pop into my head. But anyway, Affleck, let me get serious. Focus. Affleck, who has struggled with addiction for years and has done multiple stints in rehab, was said to be risking his sobriety in that environment. And so he had to leave to avoid his worst nightmare, a relapse. And they said for years, Jennifer didn't drink, but after she launched her Delulu cocktail, it's Delola, but I gotta stick with the Delulu. Delulu cocktail line in 2023, she clarified she does enjoy the occasional cocktail. Well, bitch, if you would have said that from the damn beginning, we would have believed you. And I wonder, but now it just seems like, girl, you're just trying to jump onto something as your next little thing that you're trying to sell to the people. And I'm sitting there wondering, I'm like, wait a minute. Um, has anybody actually tasted her Delulu? Put me on. Inquiring minds want to know because as somebody, well, I don't know, I've never tried Delola. I wouldn't know, first of all, where you would get Delulu. So yeah, because I don't even know which place in in any of the liquor stores that I would go. So you know what? Maybe I need to take a trip to the liquor store and be like, um has anybody tried it? First of all, I wish Lindsay was up in here because I know Lindsay is a huge Jennifer fan. And I know that they would try anything that Jennifer does. So I wonder what her drink tastes like because I've never had it or even know where to get it. So they said the Kenny from the Block singer said last year, I do drink responsibly, but I don't drink to get shit faced. Which I remember when that line came out, people was like, it's Kareem. Like, who you trying to throw a dig at? But you talking about I don't get shit faced. Well, honey, at your age, you should be doing that. Like, first of all, at my big age of 40 plus, I don't even drink like that anymore. Like, I can't drink like that, like how I was drinking when I was in my 20s. And even sometimes in my 30s, like there would be periods where if I went out, I would literally do a binge drink and then I could just go weeks without having a drink. But no, I don't drink to get shit faced anymore because I've been there, done that. And when I have been there and done that, I wound up in situations that I'm not too proud of, or feeling my body would be feeling all kinds of crazy the next day. So I don't really drink like that anymore. Now it's just like I have the occasional cocktail. I just want to drink to be, lit, have a good time. I stick to the same drink the whole night. Like, don't switch up, because when you start mixing, and that's another thing I realize people make too. Don't be mixing light and dark. Like, are you crazy? Like, you start doing that, then you really gonna be exercising demons. So they also said that the insider basically said it's really unhealthy for him to be around any kind of alcohol. And with Hannaford, the drink came with parties surrounded by fake people who treated him special because of his fame, which was a trigger for him. Another trigger, well, Jack, you should have known that, marrying fake ass Hannaford. Another trigger was an unhappy marriage. Now, the Argo actor famously said in 2021, while discussing the end of his 10-year marriage to Jennifer Garner, they was married that long? He said, it's part of why I started drinking, because I was trapped. Well, damn, you looking at relationships as being trapped. And I wonder how Jennifer Garner feels about that, because now you sitting there talking about you was trapped in a damn marriage. Sir, nobody put a gun to your head until you walked down the aisle with her. Just like nobody put a gun to your head and told you to walk down the aisle with Jennifer Lopez. But I realized when it came to that situation, I think he was just going along to get along. Ben gives me the type that he doesn't speak up immediately. Like, he's not very upfront and direct. I mean, I don't know, but based off of the things that I'm hearing, he doesn't seem like he's upfront and direct about his feelings and stuff. He waits until lets it build and his back is against the wall to start lashing out. You sure you're not a Virgo, sir? Because sometimes, my sign be doing that, where, we go in and it's like, we don't really speak up at first. Like, we'll let things slide, and then when it builds up, then we're like, oh no, now I got to start verbally windmilling bitches. And if it gets physical, it gets physical. But now I got to get to the point where I'm gonna cuss you out. I'm mad. I'm tired. And then we internalize things. So he gives me the type that he internalizes a lot, and then he'll go to certain vices because he's depressed or stressed out, which goes to show why he's always sad Ben. If I was like, I can't leave because of my kids, but I'm not happy. What do I do? What I did was drink a bottle of scotch and fall asleep on the couch, which turned out to be the solution. And wasn't that also a thing that we saw, that Jennifer Garner was driving a car and Ben Affleck was passed out in the passenger seat? I remember that. So maybe that was another situation that was going on too. So it's like, yeah, it's like I'm married with the kids. I got the white picket fence, but I realize this is not what I want. I'm not happy with this person that I'm with, depending on what the situation is. But I have children. I have a responsibility as a dad where I got to take care of them. And you don't want to be in a situation, because I don't know what Ben's life is like with his parents. I don't know if he's a child of divorce or whatever the case is. I haven't done a deep dive into his personal life. But I don't know if he came from like a broken home and it's like a repeated pattern, because the sins of our parents, the trauma that we deal with as kids, we pass that over, most of us, unless we get therapy and all this other stuff. That trickles down into our adult life, and we pass that to the children, unfortunately. Or sometimes I don't think people realize they do it, but they do it. So Affleck and Garner ultimately split in 2015, and he went to rehab 2 years later in 2017. Garner, who's now 52, even staged an intervention for the BVS actor, that would be Batman versus Superman, I got to abbreviate things, and drove him to yet another rehab in 2018, the same year their divorce was finalized. Now, Affleck is said to be adjusting to a life alone again following his rumored split from Lopez. He has reportedly spent the last few months filming The Accountant 2, running the studio he founded with his pal Matt Damon, who's 53, in 2022, and preparing his next directing project. So the insider says he's moved on. His plate is full. That's just how Ben deals with adversity now that he's committed to staying sober. He buckles down and focuses on the work. He's not looking back. Ultimately, ending the marriage was his best decision. If Ben hadn't ended it, made me believe he would have eventually started drinking again, and that would have been a disaster. So, you know what? I think I said all I need to say about the whole thing with Jennifer and the fact of her creating the whole liquor line. Like, to me, I just feel like that was doomed from the beginning. Like, why would you be out here, like, even if you ain't thinking about it, because all Jennifer Lopez thinks about is money. Like, to me, she's always been that girl that cares more about money and living this lavish lifestyle. And you have a right to live that. You work hard for your money. You work hard to build your empire into what it is. That's why she's worth over $400 million, because she built all this. But is it worth it when you trying to make a relationship work? I'm not saying that you need to dim your light or like make yourself small to make him feel bigger and better about himself. But at the same time, it's sort of like of all the things you decide to create a liquor line when when you're married to a known alcoholic, and then not really understanding his addiction triggers. Like, why would you even? And then being all over Instagram recently posted her new Delola liquor line, and so she's still up there with it. So I hope it was worth it. And my thing is with Ben gives me that you are just not built to be in a relationship. That maybe you just need to go, raise your kids, focus on the work. And if you're horny for some pussy, I'm sure there's plenty of girls out here that be willing to throw their cat in your direction. You could just wham bam, thank you, ma'am, send her on her way, get back to the work, and raise your children and be cordial with Jennifer Garner, because that's what you attach to for the rest of your life. Jennifer Lopez, y'all have no children together. First of all, her ex is powder at this point. She in the mid-50s. So you ain't got to worry about having a kid with her. I don't even know if there was a conversation similar to Sofia Vergara and Joe Manganiello. I don't even think if there was a conversation of that being brought up between them. And I don't even think Jennifer would even put her body at risk like that, because she is a woman of color. And, women of color who have children at an adult age, that's a lot of wear and tear on your body, especially when you have to deal with or like diabetes and all kinds of other stuff. Like, remember hearing the stories about what her good Judy Mariah Carey had to endure when she was having those twins. I had to throw a little shade. But I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Are y'all surprised by this whole situation? Like, to me, I was like, okay. Now with her, I even thought about it in my head when I first heard about her in the Delolo line, and she brought this up around hit them two and the whole kid thing. I mean, not kid thing, about the whole liquor line and his sobriety. It was like, how would that affect him with this? And now here we hear an article that's talking about it. So whatever y'all think of this story, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so we have a couple of comments. Let's get some of those. I think her sharing the love letters was Ben's final straw. Plus, he never looked happy when they were out together. Well, yeah, well, we already know that he values his privacy. He's just a regular guy, the way he presents himself, that just loves the art of filmmaking and stuff. And he doesn't like all that attention. But you got to realize that that's who, you're going to be marrying. You need somebody that is an actor, but also that is like equally is not into the spotlight thing as you are. Or I guess maybe he needs somebody who is not as famous as he is, that the industry wouldn't care about. But I guess now after this, whoever Ben Affleck gets with, the tabloids going to talk about it, because once him and Hannaful finalize the situation, they're going to want to know, like, oh, who's the next chick he's going to get with. But I also think the love letters played into that too, because he's like, these are things that are meant to be private. Why are you sharing private information with people and bringing this up in a documentary? Total Wine and Liquors said, I heard about that too. She put out all their business. Yeah. And he's not, her whole lifestyle is anti Ben Affleck. Exactly. So it's like you're opposites. He's somebody who values his privacy. She's someone that wants to use her private life as a way to, I guess, make herself feel real to her audience, but it just kind of backfired. I don't think she gave real when when she did the documentary. People didn't sense authenticity from her. That it felt more like a vanity project for her and not necessarily the audience. I feel like people would buy if Taylor Swift did something about her and Travis Kelce, people will buy that before they buy, you know, this situation with them too. Also, speaking of Travis Kelce, I sort of they dropped they started revealing stuff about that grotesquerie show that they got coming out that I'm hoping is better than American Horror Story, but anything from Ryan Murphy, I always got to give it a little side eye. So I'm actually looking forward to that. And yes, if they also dropped the trailer for that Aaron Hernandez series, that I'm like, first of all, the one they picked to play Aaron Hernandez, I said, oh, I would climb him. And then number two, is like watching the whole thing. I'm like, here's this guy who is gay and a football player and had to play up this whole machismo type situation, so that way because gay is seen as a sign of weakness, and it's all that pressure that they put on the over masculinization, if that's not a word, I just made it up, the over masculinization of American male culture. And see, like, this kid who just wanted to play football and getting so caught up in this whole stuff. That's what, and there was another interview that I saw. I don't know if y'all familiar with Tony Directs. who does a lot of these gay parody videos, whatever the case is. He did a recent interview with this guy on that I saw on YouTube. I think they dropped it yesterday. And he was opening up about what it's like to be, a gay Mexican. He's an actor, and then he did the film with George Lopez and the whole thing about being Mexican and like how his family came up and dealt with his sexuality and how more Latinos need to be more open when it comes to their sexuality because it's like that whole trickle down effect of the parents not being accepting. We got to break that chain. We got to break that cycle. And how a lot of gay Latin men will go and suppress their sexuality, but will go all because they worry too much about what the church think, what their family think, what their friends think, what all these other people think, but you miserable and go on and marry a woman and have a bunch of kids, but you really crave a dick. So it was a good interview when I saw that one. And I was like, we need more people to talk about that and open up about that. And I think a lot of times when I do this show, we could talk about the celebrity news and gossip, but also, and like I did yesterday when I incorporated the story about the um the barbershop and how they were talking about a dude cutting another dude's hair is gay. It's like when we talk about that, it's like I'm trying to break those stupid stigmas because to me it's just like men ain't gonna be able to do nothing out here because y'all just be saying everything is gay. And there's nothing engaged in I really wish that people stop using it as a damn slur. It's I need to get a sugar daddy so I can start myself. Okay, look, because I'm tired of having to work. I need a sugar I'm tired of working. I'm tired of having to do everything and pay for everything. And then she's so desperate for attention. Okay. And one of the things I didn't know about Tony Direct, he said his boyfriend is Samoan. I was looking at him, I was wondering what his nationality was. He said he's 6'4", big dude, and he is big. I didn't realize he was that damn tall. But he said he's Samoan. And how Latin men have this thing, especially Mexican men, where they want to pay for everything. I don't know. I probably would butt heads with that because I'm pretty much an alpha male when it comes to relationships. Like, on one hand, I'm like, you could take care of certain things, but I'm very much like, if I'm out to eat or whatever the case is, I'm the one putting the car down. I'm the one doing this. I'm the one doing that. It's like, nah, I got it. Like I'm very much Dr. David from Queer as Folk. If I need to compare myself to somebody, like I'm very much like, no, I got it. I'll pay for it. Don't worry about it. Like it's like even with a friend of mine today, like he was like, how much do I owe you for the movies? I said, don't worry about it. I got it. Because when people go out their way for me, and he has been there for me in a lot of situations when it came down to helping me get into certain places, paying for things, all those stuff. So I'm like, don't worry about it. I got it. Don't you worry. And I tend to take care of my friends and my significant others in that way. I said Ben had looked drunk a few times when I've seen some. Yeah, he looked a mess. But then I was like, how does that different than any other day? Because have we ever seen pictures of Ben out here looking somewhat presentable? It wasn't like he half sleep. If you're a celebrity, you need to be out of the spotlight sometimes. Yeah, she does. And just like that, it was saying like with the whole paparazzi shots that she was setting up while she was in the Hamptons. It's like, girl, we know you was calling them. First of all, they all do that shit. They even do it in LA. If they at the Ivy or they at certain public places, that's exactly what they be doing. They be calling them. Well, leave me alone. Like, bitch, you call them. Stop it. I said he didn't need Miss Attention Seeking Miss Jennifer, but maybe he was just like, you know what? He missed that good old coochie. He was probably reminiscing. Reminisce on the love we had. Make the time tonight. He was probably missing that coochie, reminiscing like Mary J. Blige, and wanted to get up in there. He just probably wanted to get up in them guts one more time. But these women, when they get a little whiff of dick, they fall in love. And we know Ben well endowed between me down there. So he probably got caught up in the matrix. But at a certain point, sir, you 50-some years old, you gotta take responsibility for your shit too. I want a Tom Brady series. That would be really? Tom Brady be getting on my damn nerves, especially that damn roast he did. So I don't know. So I'm like that too. Either I pray for, or you talking about, excuse me, or you talking about a series in the way of what Ryan Murphy did with Aaron Hernandez, where it's an unauthorized. Because I'm definitely curious to see the whole Aaron Hernandez thing, especially when you're seeing like this guy who is presenting himself as this straight dude and people calling him soft, and he had to go around trying to prove himself that he wasn't soft by taking a gun and beating up people and doing all those macho things to prove his manhood. And then on the low, having sex with dudes. So if they play all of that in that film, it's like, chill. And it's always good, like when we could see people of color who are queer, being represented in that way on screen. Not the machismo thing, but just seeing, a black guy, someone other than white folks in a same sex situation because we exist. I know the industry don't want to show it, but we do exist. So you have to be very choosy who you associate with. Cannot be around lazy people. Exactly. Only presentable at the award shows. Her cat been quiet as his cat. Or is it really that quiet? Like everybody been saying that she get around. Like she got more rings than Thanos, and that she don't let her coochie breathe before she on to the next one. And I need your pa cuando, as she once sang, or as my girl Kim Zolciak, the ring don't mean a thing. But anyway, let's go from Ben to another B, Beyonce, who congratulations to her because Miss Mamas has received a multitude of 17 award nominations. Well, sorry, 12 nominations for the People's Choice Country Awards. So they said that Zach Bryan and Beyonce, or Beyonce, as I like to say sometimes, are the leading nominees for the 2024 People's Choice Country Awards with 19 and 17 nods, respectively. They are followed in the nominations tally by Casey Musgraves with 15, Shabuzi with 12, Kane Brown and Morgan Whalen with 11 each, and Luke Combs with 10. Wait a minute. Isn't Morgan Whalen the racist? Oh, God, did I open something that I wasn't supposed to? Oh, yeah, no, that's something else. Yeah, so I'm wondering, is he the racist? Which I'm surprised people still working with him. But then again, I guess in country music, they don't give a damn. When it comes to, you could say whatever, which is why you think Post Malone had to go running over there because he couldn't hack it in the hip hop world. And he was like, fuck the hip hop community. I'm going to go country. 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 So the Crazy in Love hitmaker, who's 42, received 2 nominations for Female Song of the Year for her singles 16 Carriages and Texas Hold'em. Now, additionally, she earned 2 nominations for the cover song category for her renditions of the Beatles' Blackbird and Dolly Parton's Jolene. She's up against the likes of Parton and Casey Musgraves in the Female Artist category. She's also nominated in the coveted People's Choice's Social Country Star categories. Now, Texas Hold'em is up for Song of the Year. Blackbird is nominated for Collaboration Song of the Year. Her Miley Cyrus duet, Two Most Wanted, is up for Crossover Song of the Year. And 16 Carriages is nominated for Storyteller Song of the Year. Did y'all hear that they came out with a song called 16 Ninjas? There was like this queen that I saw on Instagram, like 16 niggas. And I'm hearing that. I'm like, you as an idiot with that damn song. So they also said Beyonce's achievement comes despite criticism of the pop star's transition into country music. Now, ahead of the album's release in March, a source told DailyMail.com that the superstar doesn't care about the reaction of those who want her to stay in her lane. They said narrow lane, but child is her lane, which they want. She black. She need to stick to R&B. She need to stick to the hip hop. But what I always find irritating is that white folks can fluctuate through different genres, and we call it pop, and it's more acceptable, or blue-eyed soul. But the minute a black person dabbles into different genres, which historically speaking, and Beyonce had to let everybody know this in an edutainment type of way, that country music was started by black people. Folk music comes from, the roots are rooted in black music. Blues, black music, rock and roll started with black people. We didn't just create hip hop, even house music. She brought that in with Renaissance. The roots of house music has been in the clubs, black queer clubs, particularly in New York and Chicago. So, and I believe DC too. So, and let's also not forget Baltimore. Baltimore had a huge house scene. So, with her bringing up that history or whatever, it's like, say what you want to say and feel how you want to feel. But, and regardless of whether or not her album actually did well, which I believe it went platinum, excuse me, Beyonce started a conversation where it was just like people were into the music, where it was like I started a conversation about Black people actually want to open their ears up and take in and listen to different genres of music and learning their musical history. Because a lot of times people don't know their musical history. In a lot of communities, you're indoctrinated. It's kind of like when I watched an interview earlier, and I was telling you about with Tony Directs. He was like, his friends were shocked to find out because he's openly gay, that openly gay Mexican, that he didn't grow up on listening to Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera and the Backstreet Boys and all the other stuff. Like where he grew up in California, he was raised on Nate Dogg, Snoop Dogg, Bone Thugs and Harmony. Like that's what, if you go to the hood of LA, that's what they were listening to. They weren't bumping Britney Spears. So I feel like queer people need to open their minds in a way where they have to learn, like, in different worlds, the way people are raised. You're not raised to be like, oh yeah, you're free to listen to whatever you want to listen to. In certain communities, it's just like, no, this is what you listen to. And it's like he said, if I was actually pumping Britney Spears, my family members, my brother and all of them would have been like, what the fuck are you listening to? Because the whole macho thing. Same thing with Beyonce. Not a lot of households, especially in New York, grew up listening to country music. I'm sure there's anomalies out there that were. Me, when I was growing up, like I told y'all, and many times on this show, that I grew up listening to all different types of music, because when I was growing up listening to, Hot 97 and freestyle and all that other stuff, you couldn't get me ready in the morning because I was busy listening, as a kid who was studying music and went, was supposed to go to Brooklyn Music School, went to PS 327 in Brooklyn, and I'm sitting there learning how to play the piano and all this other stuff. My ear for music was just crazy. So I was into all the music and whatever. And my mother was like, you need to get ready for school. I would never get ready for school because I was listening to all the hot stuff and I was having a good time dancing around the house and getting my life and everything and not getting ready to go to school. So my mother felt, she was like, the way y'all need to get ready in the morning because y'all just lollygagging, we gonna put on some 103, well no, it was Light FM. So we're gonna play some Beatles and Crystal Gale and all the stuff that y'all wouldn't necessarily be into, not realizing that as a kid who was musically inclined, I'm slowly being indoctrinated and educated on all these different genres of music, which definitely helps you down the road if you're an artist. So they also said that an insider said Beyonce would not be swayed by a negative reaction she might receive from detractors as she's focused on shining a spotlight on the contributions African Americans made to the genre. She knows there will be pushback by those who want her to stay in a narrow lane, but she doesn't care. In fact, it has made her more daring. By the time the summer's over, her detractors will know the difference between Yee and Haw. Okay, they said she faced harsh criticism from, that yuck-bound troll Azealia Banks less than 24 hours after she announced the album during the Super Bowl, with the rapper branding her foray into the country music scene narcissistic, saying, "You're setting yourself up to be ridiculed again," she wrote on Instagram on Monday. "There's a theatrical element to country music. Them critics are not just going to accept an ugly blonde wig and bullying from Jay-Z. It's giving big-time musical grift. Yes, black girls can make country music, but you're really not hitting the button. Beyonce, please stop this madness. The gay bait and the overly narcissistic attempts at lazily encroach into the genre. I think is it encroach? It said to lazily encroach into a genre you think your popularity is going to gain accolades for you in." And it also went on to say, "You're looking like food, sis." Now, this ain't the first time that this ain't Texas born Beyonce has highlighted her Southern music roots after delighting fans with her 2016 track Daddy Lessons, which also, let's not forget, Beyonce came under fire for that song too. Because remember when she performed that song at what was it? With the Dixie Chicks? I think she performed it at where was she? I think it was at the Country Music Awards. She performed it with the Dixie Chicks. People got mad and started saying they shit. Well, they call them the Chicks now. It was the 50th Country Music Association Awards in 2016. That's what it was. And I think it was on her Lemonade album. So the source added Bey was given the motivation to make the country record after seeing how many of her fans loved her single Daddy Lessons and her performance at the CMAs. Beyonce submitted Daddy Lessons for the country category at the 2016 Grammy Awards, but it was rejected by the the Recording Academy's Country Music Committee. So if the song had made it, though, it would have been eligible for honors such as the Best Country Song and Country Solo Performance. On Cowboy Carter, Beyonce took the opportunity to highlight the African American roots of country music with her new project. She wants to use her platform to spotlight the contributions African Americans have made to genres they have been shut out of. She spent months writing and researching. Well, yeah, that's how you know she a damn Virgo, because you know we do spend a lot of time researching stuff. We are very big on researching and making sure all our I's is dotted and our T's is crossed, and we know what the hell we talking about before we bring people the stuff. We are big on studying, which is why I believe also they said that one of the best professions that a Virgo can pursue is being a teacher, because we are teachers, we're educators in so many ways, and I feel like that's what Beyonce has realized her responsibility is. It's like, yeah, I can give you a little vapid song or whatever, something catchy that y'all can sing to, but I'm gonna also educate y'all. And say what you want about Beyonce's album. Yeah, it may not be for everybody. Don't get me wrong. I've listened to the album a couple of times. It's cute or whatever. There's a couple of songs on there that I like. I really wish she would have pushed the envelope in regards of like maybe making the country music sound her own, like taking those elements and kind of twisting it and bending it and doing other things with it. But I realized that she was so focused on the research and paying respect and homage and educating people that she probably wasn't interested in doing that. There's a couple of songs on that album that she does experiment a little bit sonically, but for the most part, it's sort of like, you know, I'm gonna give you a little country. And guess what? Say what you want, but and even though K. Michelle was opining about wanting to put out a country music album for years, she has been very vocal about it, but K. Michelle is not on the level of a Beyonce. And that's no shade. But because Beyonce is who she is, and she's one of the biggest stars in the world, and she's actually able to step outside the box and experiment, now labels are looking at a K. Michelle and allowing and are giving her the space to follow her dream and to create a country music record. So I say all this to say, congratulations to Beyonce. Like I said, this may not be, you know, my cup of tea, or in the words of Jocelyn Fox, my cup of soup. In regards to that whole genre, I'm not a big country music fan, but look, if y'all could offer the same grade, or did they offer the same grade? Remember when, look, Lady Gaga stepped outside the box and started trying different genres, and yeah, y'all wasn't feeling it at first, but she is well respected, and now she's opening up stadiums and experimented with her different sound ideas, and now people take her more seriously as an artist and not just a pop star. The same grace needs to be allowed to people of color to be able to come, and particularly Black folks, who are in a lot of these mainstream spaces, to be able to push genres and to experiment and try different things and not just stay in one little box, so that way you feel comfortable with the shit they putting out. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay. Um, I was like, yeah, sometimes I be having to go scroll up. I'm like, where the hell, what was the one I was at? It said only presentable as the, oh yeah, I read that one. It said her cat been around, especially with those rings. Read that one. So again, over Queen Bee. There are a few nice songs on the long drag out country, but 12 noms is too much, and I bet they do the same at the Grand. You know what? They probably doing all that because they want her to show up. It's no different than what they be doing with Taylor Swift and all the damn nominations she got for, you know, this VMAs that's coming up. Y'all know what, you know, inviting Taylor Swift to all these award shows, what it gives. It's going to give us a ratings bump. It's going to give everybody something to talk about. But like I said before, and I should have said this in the segment, so that way I could have edited all of that in when, you know, it's time for me to cut up the clips, is that, you know what? Now I know she's probably going to show up because she wants to make a statement or whatever. But I really wish that she would put this much energy into a lot of the Black award shows and show up versus these others, you know, these other shows that she'd be running to go to, like the Grammys and these country music awards. That's true regarding Blue Eye Soul. So I disagree with you regarding Britney. The Hood listens to Baby One More Time. They may not listen to anything else. I'm not saying the Hood doesn't listen to it, but I'm saying that he was somebody when he was growing up that wasn't allowed. That he was not listening to Britney Spears or Christina Aguilera. Like, you know, the same old thing when it comes to the gays, where the gays would be like, Well, yeah, like they're queens and they're divas. Like all gay men listen to Britney, Christina, Madonna, Kylie Minogue, Beyonce, Brand. Like that's not every gay man's story. There's some people that, they grew up listening to, especially if you're Latino, it's like you listen to hip hop because of the environment in which you grew up in, and everybody's trying to assimilate and blend in, which I was dealing with a lot of that as a kid growing up too, like assimilating and blending in so that way it's like you don't get called out and made fun of. And then what else was I gonna say? So yeah, so he was saying like, yeah, he didn't listen to a lot of those artists and stuff. And then the guy that he was um that was interviewing him, I can't remember the name of the damn show, but I know I saved it in my thing. But anyway, the guy that was interviewing him basically was like, oh, he listens to everything. He said he listened to Britney, he listens to Taylor Swift, but he listens to all that because he has a daughter. And when he's in the car with her, that's what they listen to. They listen to Taylor Swift, they listen to Britney, they listen to all those artists because he says he will not play hip hop in the car because he doesn't want his daughter having to hear the inappropriate stuff that they be saying, which I think is smart. That's like, yeah, I don't want my kids having to listen to somebody eating pussy and blowing somebody's brains out and all that other stuff. I was like, yeah, we're gonna sit up in here and sing "We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together." We're gonna be up in here singing that song, child. So, oh yeah, it was called the Hustle Podcast. That's what I was listening to. It was a good one, but anyway. So I grew up with my dad listened to a lot of Celia Cruz. You know, shout out to her. Didn't she ain't she the first Afro Latina to be put feature on a what was it, a quarter? I kept seeing that on social media. And it was lots of Celia Cruz and salsa music. My aunt and uncle like country, and my cousin liked a lot of R&B, and she loved Prince and Sheila E. Yeah, I love me some Sheila E. He wanna live a glamorous life. She don't need a man's touch. It ain't much. So I listen to all kinds of music. Some people are surprised. Well, you do DJ also. So I would think that the smart thing to do for even not just you, but for most any DJ is that you should be open to different genres because even with the stuff that you mix, if you ever get to a point that you make a living as a DJ and people want to hire you for their events and there's certain type of music that they want played at said event, you should be well versed in having that knowledge. So absolutely regarding the good music in your household, I had the same too. My father loves the Beatles and the Bee Gees. Yeah, I listened to all of that growing up. Like my father was playing a lot of Motown, a lot of, like Temptations, Four Tops, Shy Lights, all that other stuff because my father's going to be, I was about to say 20. How I'm older than him. It was like, my father's about to be 70 next week on the 21st, which is next Wednesday. And he was like, so all that other stuff that I grew up on. And then my mother, she would play like Michael Jackson, Madonna, Boy George, a lot of like dance music, a lot of freestyle, a lot of synth pop. She was more of the fun one. My father was cool too, but he played like more of the funky stuff. So I was listening to all of that. And then plus on top of, like I was saying before, when I was a kid, when we had to get ready for school, we couldn't listen to all the modern stuff because we was never like getting ready in the morning. I wanted to play around. I would take forever to like take a bath in the bathroom, or I would just be lollygagging or whatever the case is. And I was like, well, this ain't the music we're gonna play. So we need to put something on, and not realizing that it was getting in the head. And it was like, let's not act like Azealia Banks is not right. Furthermore, Bay knew her hive would be there to support and provide military support. True, but I guess she was trying to say, like, with her doing the whole country thing, it didn't feel authentic. I said she performed at the Country Music Awards, and I think the song was Daddy Lessons. Daddy Lessons. Yes, see you tonight. It says, so K. Michelle never put together country album. She's been talking about doing the whole country thing for so long. Because I remember even when she was on Love and Hip Hop and stuff, she was talking about it. Oh yeah, we talked about that in the opening of the show. That was the first topic about the 5 people arrested in the death of Matthew Perry. I know you just came in at the last second, but yes, we talked about that in the beginning. I was like, if anything else comes out, because they did say while we were doing the show in the article that they were going to do a press conference or whatever the case is in regards of more tea. But well, and if anything else comes out, we'll talk about it tomorrow. They said a full video leaked of them admitting Trump had to abandon Project 2025. Um, they even admit they told him because the BET Awards ruined everything. Yeah, that's what, child. Let me tell you, because even the news was saying it. They were like, Taraji is starting to scare people because and shout out to her because my Virgo sister. I tell you, we Virgos, we dangerous with this mouth. Especially when we come up trying to inform people on stuff, and nobody was really familiar with Project 2025. But when Taraji got up there and started saying stuff about Project 2025 and started informing people on it. I don't know if the proper word to use would be scared them, but they seemed like they got scared and they woke up and then people started researching. And then, oh, hell no. And it said, yeah. And then when she was going, yeah, then all the other stuff coming out with people with the backlash and calling her a slur and all the other stuff. I said, yeah, we see what y'all trying to do over there. I grew up in a household listening to, Onyx is in the building. I grew up in a household listening to a lot of regional Mexican music, Spanish stuff, but I don't listen to any of that now. I listen to everything except, and it's probably because when you listen to something so much as a kid, you just like don't want to be associated with it because it's been so indoctrinated. It's like kind of like if you grew up every day as a kid eating peanut butter and jelly, and then as an adult, you hate peanut butter and jelly. So I think it's probably something like that. I'm thinking about peanut butter and jelly because that's actually what I ate for dinner last. I was like, I don't feel like eating any hot food, and I had hot food like in my fridge in a container. All I had to do was go upstairs and heat it up in the microwave. But I was so damn lazy. I was like, I really don't feel like scooping this shit out, putting it on a plate, and sticking it in the microwave. I'm gonna just make me 2 sandwiches and call it a day. That's how I was feeling yesterday. And then after eating the peanut butter and jelly, I'm like, I don't even want this. So I was just on a whole nother situation yesterday. Like I don't like peanut butter and jelly today. Now normally I love me some peanut butter and jelly, but for some reason after I ate it, I was like, I don't even want to eat this, but I ate it. If that makes any sense. Okay, so all right, child, let's get into it. So we got to get into this story. This one might take a minute because we got to go through each one. So I got a little something in my inbox from Robert, and I was like, "Oh Lord, here we go." I said, "Oh, topic for tomorrow." So apparently, Billboard did a greatest pop stars of the 21st century list. They didn't release the full official list, but they released an honorable mentions list. And I thought as a class we could go over each one, and I can give my thoughts on each person that was on the honorable mentions list. And afterwards, it's freaking pop-ups, just like trying to close all of them. But anyway, so I was like, we could go through each one, and then I'll just give my instinctual opinion because I didn't have time to go through all of them. I was busy trying to put the show together. So basically, my reaction will be my official reaction while you know I'm going through it. So that grape juice first posted it, but I went over to Billboard and got, the stuff. So they said from crowning Beyonce's Love on Top as the greatest love song of the 21st century to naming Nicki Minaj the greatest female rapper of all time and putting her hit Super Bass as the greatest female hip hop song ever on its 500 best pop songs list. Billboard is the king of turning heads and causing tongues to wag over their debate igniting best ever music tallies. So the trend of making Joy's drop is one that seems poised to become ahead of the launch of the newest list, the 25 greatest pop songs of the 21st century. Said to be rolled out incrementally over the next 4 months until the end of the year, Billboard is not only basing and ranking on commercial performance and chart stats, but also subjective criteria like cultural impact. Now, before unveiling who made the cut, the Music Bible sent some of the music's most beloved fan bases into an uproar by revealing some big names who only made honorable mention. Now they have the list, but I was looking to see if like maybe there was going to be some comments about it, but they didn't. But I guess what we'll do is we'll go by what you all think, and that'll be, the court of public opinion. So let's get to this list without further ado. So the first person they picked was 50 Cent. But hold on as I scroll down, Chad. So we got 50 Cent, his old, how you doing looking picture. He's giving homo 30 T's in this picture, Chad. But anyway, So now I'm gonna have to be careful with how I scroll down on this. Okay, so they said basically perhaps no rapper this century had a breakout more magnificent than the artist born Curtis Jackson. Now you know his album came out, Get Rich or Die Trying, it came out in 2003. He did have some big songs and stuff in that album, and then he had The Massacre. But I only think that he only had like two big albums, and then he kind of like fell off. But the reason why they say he didn't make the top 25, they said after losing a much publicized first week sales showdown with Kanye, in 2007, y'all keep telling me his name is Ye. He'll always be Kanye to me, Chad. So they said the bottom fell out for 50 Cent surprisingly quickly. He's yet to score a Hot 100 top 10 hit as a lead artist or a Billboard 200 number one album since the new releases became more scattershot as he shifted focus to an acting career and business investments. And you want to know something? With him not being on this top 25, I actually agree with their assessment because I'm sitting there thinking like 50 Cent, even though he is a troll, he is somebody that has pretty much been somebody who is always being kept on the radar of the music industry. Quiet as it's kept, his music career was never like that big. It was never on the level of like a Kanye West, a Jay-Z, a Nas, or even Eminem, his mentor. Like his career's never been on that level. He was somebody that came through and had a couple of big hits, but and trust and believe, when I've seen 50 Cent perform those songs, he does his medley of hits. It takes him about 10 minutes to get through all them damn songs. So he's never been that person that I feel like could open and do a whole full tour or whatever the case is. I know he recently came out and did like a festival tour or whatever the case was, but I'm sure it was just like a medley of hits and he had a bunch of other people that was on there with him. So I'm not surprised that he's not a part of this the top 25, mention. Okay, so let's scroll on down to the next one. And the next person they chose is Mr. Keys. Hey, Alicia girl, how you doing? Come on with this giving bulldog of teas in this photo. Don't she give you stud? She giving full-on stud, Miss Mamas. But anyway, so they said the American Idol era desperately needed an Alicia Keys, definitely did. And she came out at the right time. She was basically giving us like biracial Stevie Wonder, except she could actually see. And then, she came up with songs in A minor and The Diary of Alicia Keys. But I feel like after those two records, in my opinion, that Alicia Keys really just like never really popped after that. So they said the reason why they didn't put her in the top 25 is rarely totally absent from the mainstream over the past 25 years. Keys' time as a pop superstar was nonetheless most limited to her first three albums, as she hasn't had a real hit single since 2012. So that's 12 years ago when Alicia had a hit. And I feel like Alicia's one of those girls that gives me very much Lauryn Hill. Yeah, I'm gonna just scroll down to Billie Eyelash Remover because that's the next one. Lauryn Hill, like she's in that vein where she gave us a couple of bops, but Lauryn Hill's a one album wonder. So, but Alicia Keys had three albums. She had a lot of good songs in it, but ever since then, was that around the time when she married Swizz Beatz? Because I feel like after them albums, once she got married with him and all that drama with Mashonda and all that other stuff, I feel like her career has not been the same ever since. And it may have stifled her talent. And she keeps releasing records, but I just feel like people just don't care. And maybe it's just that she's just creating music so that way she could, tour or whatever the case is. I don't even know at this point if people are even excited for a Alicia Keys album, or even if they would be excited for Alicia Keys tour. But I definitely feel like at this point in her career, she could just give a residency and that was it. Child, we even cackled at her when she got up there with them challenging ass vocals during Usher's Super Bowl halftime performance. So anyway, let's get into Miss Billie Eyelash Remover and see what they had to say about her. So, they said the first artist born in the 21st century to score a Hot 100 number one hit could not have felt a more appropriate paragon of Gen Z superstardom. So, she was always somebody who got a lot of people excited for Billie Eilish. Like she was very much like that cool girl. I'm a cool girl. I'm a cool girl. That's a Tolo song. But they said cool girl shit up in here. And she makes a lot of great music with her brother Phineas. And she's come out with what, 3 albums? But the reason why they said that she didn't make the top 25, they said simply a matter of volume in her rise. If her rise had started a couple of years earlier or this period ended a couple of years later, it'd be almost impossible to keep her out. And I feel like, yeah, she hasn't really been around long enough to even be considered a part of the list. So it makes sense to have her not on here. Now, the next one they picked was Belle Callis, aka Miss Cardi B. Come on, titties. She was good in this picture. Okay, so they said that, while we still sitting around waiting for that damn sophomore album, because, Invasion of Privacy is still breaking records. And hopefully, once she pushes this third child out and ties up them damn tubes, now she can focus on releasing the follow-up. And she had a lot of big hits off that album. She had the I Like It song with J Balvin. She had that Girls Like You song. I hated that song, by the way, but I think anything with Maroon 5 turns me off. Of course, she had WAP with Megan Thee Stallion and she's had other songs. So why wasn't she in the top 25? But I'm sure they're going to put Nicki Minaj up in there when they release that list. They said tough to crack the quarter century list when your mainstream breakthrough came 2/3 of the way through those 25 years. And even though Cardi kept scoring hits following the Invasion of Privacy era, some of those hits, Money, Up, Enough, Miami, might have enjoyed longer chart runs had they been tethered to a proper full length. Because that's what it feels like too. Like, yeah, Invasion of Privacy was good, but post that, she kept releasing these one-off singles when I feel like those songs should have been a part of a sophomore album that everybody's still waiting on. Now, the next person they pick, Carrie Underwears. Hey, Carrie girl, looking forward to seeing how you're going to turn out on American Idol. So they said one of the two most recognizable American Idol alums in popular music, Carrie underwent. Carrie Underwood has been one of country music's defining voices since she first topped the Hot 100 with Idol victory single Inside Your Heaven back in 2005. So she's a big staple in the country music space. And I know like a lot of people looking forward to seeing what she's going to do in American Idol. Because like I always said, American Idol was skewered towards middle America. They're the ones, that like watching that because it's more family oriented. It's not going to ruffle any feathers. And it's boring. It's safe. So that's why they'll enjoy people like American Idol. So that while she was a consistent seller in the late 2000s and early 2010s, her recent studio efforts haven't made as much of a commercial impact, and her crossover success has been fairly limited for the last decade. Well, yeah, because if you do country music, everybody knows that genre is limited. Like country music is not really something that I think expands outside the walls of middle America. I don't know if there's people that listen to country music in the UK. My UK people, let me know in the comments if y'all be out there listening to people like Willie Nelson and Dolly Parton. Well, Dolly Parton's an icon. Like everybody likes her. But or a Carrie Underwood. Are y'all out there listening to country music like that? I feel like that's more of an American Pie type situation. So I can definitely see that her genre, the stuff is limited. The same thing with Beyonce's Cowboy Carter. That's a limited type of genre of people that's going to listen to that. A couple of Black people that's willing to be open-minded and country folk who aren't racist, they'll be the ones that'll listen to Cowboy Carter. But I do feel like that, yeah, she hasn't had that much of a commercial impact, and I feel like that it was smart for them, even though I wanted Fantasia, but it was smart for them to pick Carrie Underwood because maybe with her being on TV, and I realize that this has helped, when a lot of times artists, musicians, or whatever, go on TV, it opens them up to a different world of people where they can sell what they're putting out versus them having to do it the old-fashioned way, which is, oh, I got a new album coming out and I got to announce it on Instagram and hope that people go and listen to it. The next person they picked, Chris Brown. Now, I'm not surprised that he's not on the list because, like I've said a million times, like Chris Brown has yet to give me something on the same level. Yeah, he's still on the radar. Yeah, he's still selling out arenas. Yeah, he's successful in his own right. But Chris Brown has never given us anything that is on the same level as someone like even an Usher. Where I've said many a times, Chris Brown, album-wise, has yet to give me something similar to what Usher has with My Way, Confessions, or 8701. Like, where are those? Like, you have a bunch of songs, you have a couple of bops, but he's never been someone that has been able to stand outside the pack. And even if he didn't do the things that he did to Rihanna and so many other people, like all the troubling things, I feel like I would have still had the same question floating around. So they say in the wake of Usher's mid-2000s mega dominance, Chris Brown emerged as the next man up in the timeless triple threat model of pop and B stardom. He topped the Hot 100 right away with Run It, and quickly proved he had the songs to match the skills. When he performed with Rihanna in 2007 VMAs, it seemed like pop had found its reigning power couple, but then we all know what happened. So the reason why they didn't put him on the list, they said even as he rebounded quickly commercially, Brown understandably remained a highly divisive figure in the pop world, with just those first few years remaining treasured memories for nearly all. And it seems like that, yeah, he was doing all the right things. His career was on the right track. And I feel like the incident with him and Rihanna definitely affected his career. Not only his career, but his mental health. And I felt like he started to continue to play up that whole bad boy persona and not in a good way. So he kept getting in trouble with the law. He kept getting into fights with people. He had to get a restraining order. And I feel like that a lot of big name people weren't willing to work with him. So the next person they pick is my girl, Christina. So Christina Aguilera, why isn't she on the list? So Christina actually had the first few Hot 100 #1 hit of the 21st century with the second single off her debut album, As What a Girl Wants, followed Genie in a Bottle to the top spot and confirmed Christina has the second biggest solo star of the nascent TRL teen pop era, but Aguilera's maturity will come rapidly. She did Stripped, it lacked the #1s, and they said #2, widely expanding her artistry in both depth and in diversity. Decades and several more successful career transformations later, it still feels like the gold standard for This Is Me pop star statement albums. Meanwhile, What a Girl Wants is still being sung by male pro athletes, really, in unavoidable cell phone commercials. So the reason why they didn't put her on the top 25, they said after 2006's chart topping Back to Basics, the hits dried up pretty fast. Aguilera never released another totally successful album, and her only major pop successes of the last 15 years has come as features. So that's got me wondering. It's like, what is it about Christina that has turned a lot of people off? Why couldn't she not have the same level of success as a Britney Spears? Britney Spears go in the studio, sing a song, immediately a hit. Christina Aguilera, and I hate to compare the two, but they were basically, the two kind of girls that went at it. They were the Madonna and Cyndi Lauper of my generation. It's like, yeah, I'm aware of Madonna and Cyndi, but I was too little to understand the feud that was going on with them. But Britney and Christina, that's my demographic. So I feel like that, yeah, to compare that makes sense. Because if you really look at Christina's career, Christina's career mimics Cyndi Lauper's, where it was like, oh, she's going to be this big major star. Oh, she's got the talent. She's got the chops. She's got the vocal ability. Then she comes along and the career just kind of flatlines. Yeah, she had What a Girl Wants, Genie in a Bottle. Those were cute little songs or whatever. And then she went off and did other genres of music, and it just didn't register. When you had Pink that despised her because she felt like she was copying off of her with, Beautiful and all that stuff. And then Lady Gaga with The Fame, and then Christina came out with Bionic, and Lady Gaga, and this is some tea I know for a fact happened. Lady Gaga getting mad because she feels like Christina was copying her with the whole Bionic genre. So maybe the reason why people really weren't gravitating towards Christina's music and why she's had to kind of run off with her tail between her legs and all of a sudden want to become like this, the La Reina of Latin music is because the English language market ain't appreciating her. So if I come over home to my people and embrace my half Ecuadorian heritage, now I can, capitalize on that. And I could possibly maybe become the next Carol G. Even though she was before Carol G, but you know what I'm saying. So maybe what it is that people feel like Christina lacks authenticity. Who else? Okay, they got Doja Cat. Now, why did they say not her? They said the recent hurts, of course, as does the fact that as many brilliant moments as she's strung together over the years, she doesn't quite have the pull to stop the world with a release, evidenced by the fact that she has yet to score a Billboard 201 album. Wait, so how many albums did Doja Cat come out with? Two? So she doesn't, even though she's got a lot of songs, I do like Doja Cat. I like the idea of Doja Cat. She's a great live performer. I like her music. I like her vibe. But yeah, she's like that. I don't think she's that girl that really has made a cultural impact to be a part of the list. So I kind of agree with them with that. But I don't understand the whole Christina thing. Like, I guess it would think because the idea of Christina, like she should be on the thing, but girl, if you're not bringing the hits, I could definitely understand why they ain't pick her. All right, let's talk about Miss Dula Peep. Like why she ain't really hitting more. Maybe because Robert and I have had this conversation many a times. She's bigger over in the UK versus the US. She's tried to make it over here and make a name for herself, but to me, I feel like the bigger import that has come over to make a bigger cultural impact would be Charlie XCX. Dula Peep has yet to make that cultural impact. Yeah, she came out with Future Nostalgia, but post that, it's like we ain't checking for Dula Peep like that over here. So they said Dula Peep wrote a set of new rules for what a pop breakthrough looks like when she scored her first top 10 Hot 100 hit with the 2017 electro pop post breakup playbook following a series of hits in her native UK, mixing her high fashion sensibility and indie taste to create an undeniably cool star. So I did like all that stuff because I did like a lot of the songs. I like her song with what is it, One Kiss? And she did a little hip dance that she still gets made fun of till this day. I did like the Cold Heart song, and I like some of the, I did like her song on the Barbie soundtrack, and I liked all the other things. But it was just like I think that Radical Optimism just wasn't. People weren't really feeling that album. So it says while Billboard selected Radical Optimism as one of the best albums I don't know what y'all was listening to. They said one of the best albums of 2024 so far, thanks to its sure-footed lyrics and riskier productions. Dula Peep failed to crack the Hot 100 top 10 with the project's first three singles, but we still more than radically optimistic that she could rejoin pop's upper echelon at any moment. And look, I've always looked at Dula Peep as a girl that has the potential of being that next big breakout. And I'm not going to hate on Radical Optimism too hard because I love the fact that she worked with the guy from Tame Impala and that she took risks sonically. But it's unfortunate that when you listen to that record, it lacks any real hits. And the smart thing that many people from the past will tell you, even if you're going to take a risk with your sound, you have to at least have a couple of songs on that record that feels like, okay, it's got that signature pop sensibility that people are going to be interested in wanting to hear the record, but you need to find a way to tie all that in. And I don't feel like she did. She went a little too far to the left. And I was like, oh, I got a calendar. My calendar reminded me that I'm supposed to see Alien Romulus today on my watch. Anyway, okay, so they got Future now. I didn't want to put Future in this conversation. It's like Future got a lot of songs, but anybody Future got a lot of songs or whatever, and he has contributed a lot to hip hop culture, especially the genre the sound that he does. Because you hear it in a lot of other artists who I guess have been able to do Future sound better than Future. But Future's music is never really like. I feel like him as a whole has never really stood out. But people are aware of the stuff he puts out. And so I remember a time when Navadius Demon Wilburn, aka Future, debuted on the national stage and was considered something of a hip hop gimmick. The singing and rapping blended together seamlessly in a post auto-tune warble. There was his album Pluto had early converts, and Honest had pop leading defenders. And if it wasn't for Future, we wouldn't have people like Drake. Because trust and believe, I truly believe like Drake took a lot of influence from Future and incorporated into his type of music. So they said, although he collaborated with everyone from Taylor Swift to Maroon 5 to Ariana Grande Cappuccino, following, excuse me, the 2014 crossover bid, Honest, he's mostly stayed pop adjacent while keeping both feet firmly in the hip hop world as Future rapped about after the project, tried to make me a pop star and they made me a monster. Well, the monster, did that come from the fact that you was out here laying it over, spreading it out with so many other women and you wasn't taking care of your responsibilities as a father? I wonder if that came from that. Now, the next person they pick is Jennifer Lopez. And you would think was somebody that came out in like 1999, I believe. She did come out in 99, right? And how much impact she's had with music that she would be considered. But I think the problem with Jennifer, before I even get to what they saying, just my overall thought, is because she treated the music career like it was a hobby. I don't feel like she took it as seriously because I guess she was feeling insecure that it was like, yeah, I'm not the best singer and all this other stuff. And if you're a pop star or if you're somebody who's a dancer, I don't feel like singing should be a requirement. Yeah, you should be able to carry a tune. Yeah, they have tricks and all these other things that they can use to make you sound good. But as long as you're a good performer, and one thing I will give Hannaful is she is a good performer. But when she got into that whole typical American type situation where, oh, I gotta prove that I can sing. Everybody was looking at you with a side eye. Same thing like with this is me now. Girl, nobody want to hear a bunch of mid-tempo ballads. We wanted we wanted you dancing to a house beat. Or even if you was gonna do R&B pop or pop and B, it should have had like a mid-tempo type vibe or something a little in the vein of Chris Brown. Like you should have gave us that. But she didn't give us that. She wanna prove that she could sing. And Hannaful can carry a tune because she's been rehearsing and she has a really good vocal coach. But I always say stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to. When you try to prove stuff, you end up with egg on your face. You're not Mariah. You are not Madonna, girl. So they said, no one defines celebrity at the age of the 21st century quite like Jennifer Lopez. Music certainly wasn't the only part of that. Her film success and tabloid ubiquity were bothly crucial, but it still might have been the biggest. She released 6 top 10 Hot 100 hits over the first 3 years of the 2000s, and helped define an era where hip hop, R&B, and pop all got more cuddly together than ever before. Hannaful bookended the last decade with a judging role on American Idol and a career-defining dramatic turn in the strip club crime story Hustlers. I actually like that movie. Then she kicked off the 2020s with a career victory lap co-headlining performance at the Super Bowl, all while never looking like she aged a single day. Now, the reason why they didn't put her in the top 25, they said great as her peak was, and she was our number one greatest pop star of 2001, she ruled out a relatively weak era for pop stardom, and neither her signature hits or biggest albums still inspire quite the same reverence from pop fans today as the stars who ruled before or after her. So I feel like maybe what it is that, you know what? People outgrew Hannaful's music. It's like, yeah, we hear Let's Get Loud and If You Have My Love and On the Floor and stuff, and it's cute or whatever. But I feel like I don't think fans outside of her core fan base look at Hannaful the same way that we would look at a Taylor Swift, a Janet Jackson, a Madonna, a Beyonce, a Kylie Minogue. Like it's multi-generational. I don't feel like that Hannaful has grown up with her audience like the people that, like those artists that I mentioned. She didn't evolve her music or as an artist. She focused too much on the movie career, in my opinion. So the next person they wound up picking, hopefully we're almost done with this, Kelly Clarkson. So, she did she won American Idol and all this other stuff. Now she got the talk show. So the reason why they didn't pick her, they said Clarkson has unquestionably endured as a multimedia celebrity, but her time as a hit-making pop star was really limited to her first 10 years after Idol. Well, that is true because I feel like when she came out with Miss Independent and Since You've Been Gone, and she's got a couple of those songs, I don't feel like Kelly Clarkson has been able to maintain a level of musical success like so many other artists have. Like she kind of just came and fell off. And Kelly could put out music, but I just feel like she's of a time gone by and people don't care when it comes to her. Let's not forget My Life Would Suck Without You. Kendrick Lamar is another. Speaking of Drake, we were talking about him before, his bestie. So they said why they didn't pick him. Even with those number ones, Kendrick Lamar just never really cared about making pop stardom the main thing. And 2024 aside was largely shrunk from the spotlight when he didn't absolutely have to be in it. During his most center stage moment of the century, he was still sneering at Drake. Only you like being famous. And that's the thing with Kendrick. Kendrick is an artist. He's sort of like the Ben Affleck of hip hop. It's like, I like making music. I like creating my art. and I like staying with my family and my wife and taking care of my family and doing all the other things. And that's it. I don't care about the stardom. I don't care about the $1 million mansions and all that stuff. I like having money and being comfortable, but I don't care about all this frivolous, fake bullshit. And there's nothing wrong with that. Next person they picked is Kesha. Hey girl, how you doing? Shout out to Kesha. I'm liking her song Joyride. I was actually listening to Kesha the other day. Like when I was going from the gym, I was like, let me put on Cannibal. That album has so many damn bops on it. And it was just like, I feel like we're kind of going back to that. Or maybe the fans are like missing that type of sound, which is like that young, carefree, let's get drunk, let's, go crazy. Like remember Far East Movement and that whole type of genre of sound? I feel like people are really missing that. And I like the fact that, Kesha is working on the music. We heard Joyride. It kind of plays back to the old Kesha, but gives us something a little unique and different. So, if you already know the stuff about what her and Dr. Luke, we don't need to reiterate that. But they said that she's used her music to shake up party hard image and communicate perseverance amid personal and professional complications. Yet anyone who experienced Kesha's $ days, remember when somebody used to, I forget, they used to call her K-E $ ha? I forgot where I heard that from. And they said a blaze of Jack Daniels, a brush on her teeth. Yeah, brush on her teeth with a bottle of Jack. I think recently she did a video on social media which they showed her literally. She had Jack Daniels on a plate. She rubbed her toothbrush in it and brushed her teeth in. I'm like, really, sis? So, she had those big hits, TikTok, blah, blah, blah. Your love is my drug. Take it off. We are who we are. Blow. Die young. The world is going hard. I did not like Gag Order. I did not like that album. I didn't care for Rainbow either. But I think she recorded those to just get out of that damn contract. So anyway, they said, why didn't pick her as musically rewarding as Kesha's recent output has been? She unfortunately couldn't achieve the same hit rate as the first few years of her career over the past decade. Only one of her songs, 2017 Praying, made it to the top 40 of the Hot 100. Well, that was a good song, but I have to say, like, post, her shit going on with Dr. Luke, I will agree that, a lot of the songs she came out with weren't as big as Blow, Die Young, We Are Who We Are, Your Love Is My Drug, TikTok. Like, she didn't give us those type of bombs. Hopefully she will give those type of, maybe she'll get a hit with the next, plethora of music that she has coming out in the future, but we shall see. Now they got Miss Lana Del Rey up in the situation. Why they didn't pick her? They said formidable as the cult of Lana has become over the last decade plus, it is still mostly a cult. Her actual top 40 presence has been more minimal than you think, with only 2 Hot 100 top 10 appearances. So, I like Lana Del Rey, but I don't be liking her like that, where I feel like, her music is crazy, whatever. I like the Summertime Sadness remix with Cedric Gervais. That I still pump that song to this day. And I like Lana Del Rey, but Lana is a mood. I definitely have to get in the mood to listen to her. Now then we got Ms. Lord. Hey girl. Remember Lord? Well, of course remember Lord, because we like that Girl So Confusing remix that she has with Charlie XCX. But I think Lord only has like 2 albums though. So she is one of the most instrumental figures in the trend of anti-pop stars becoming pop stars. It's very hard to do that when you're like giving anti-pop star vibes, but you become a pop star. It's almost like I'm against it, but I welcome it. But I'll dip my toe, but I'm not all of my toes. I'll only put like 2 in there, not the other 8. So yeah, they talk about like her song her album Solar Power. You had Melodrama. That's one thing she had the song for Mockingjay. And then, of course, the Girl So Confusing song. So why wasn't she a part of the list? She's a songwriting savant with some indisputable pop classics, but her commercial success and the overall volume of her output is a bit lacking for her to crack the top 25. Yeah, she doesn't really put out a whole lot of music. And I believe she has a new album coming out in 2025. But right now, it's like, yeah, I wouldn't put her on that list. Now they got Maroon 5. First of all, Maroon 5 are on the list because their music is god-awful. That's probably why they're not on here. But let's see what they had to say. They said, although Levine has established himself as a cultural figure thanks to a long-running gig on The Voice, which, sidebar, he is returning to The Voice, probably because he misses that damn TV money. They said Maroon 5's musical influence has been relatively muted, not hit merchants per se, but chameleonic enough to never establish one set formula that other pop rock groups have copied. I like their first album, but after that, I was just like, I don't care. And based over the thing is like Matthew, Adam Levine can't sing, and his music. I mean, he's a horrible performer. They got Megan Thee Stallion. Well, of course, Megan Thee Stallion is another one that I feel like her genre, her style of music, and her impact is relatively limited. Yeah, she's an independent girl selling out selling out arenas actually, but I just don't feel like Megan has that cultural impact that she can keep people engaged to be a part of that top 25. Now, that's why I said I know Nicki Minaj is on that list. So they basically said the reason why they pick her with her true breakthrough happening just 5 years before the cutoff and the lack of a number one album, Megan isn't quite one of the top 25 pop stars of the century yet. And that's why I said, like, the thing with her and her music is that it all sounds the same. I think when we talked about this yesterday, like when I see her perform or whatever, it's like her music has the same type of rhythm. It's sort of like you kind of give this, it's almost like Megan hasn't evolved yet in regards of like lyrically, sonically. Yes, she up there dancing and the body is snatched. She's giving body yaddy yaddy. But in regards of like the music, I needed to evolve in the same way of like a Nicki Minaj, where Nicki Minaj has dipped into all different types of genre. Even though she was made fun of the EDM, y'all still be living for that music. She could do like the hardcore rapping over a beat. She can rap over a house beat or EDM beat and switch up her sound. And that's what I want from my artist. I want versatility. I don't want, somebody give me one note tease. Okay, so now they got Missy Elliott. Now y'all out your goddamn mind by not putting her on here. And I'm sitting there like, how the hell do y'all not have Missy Elliott a part of this damn list? So now they said why they didn't pick her. Unfortunately, Missy never fully stepped back into the spotlight after 2005, she was sick. Hello. Despite popping up every so often over the past 2 decades with new and frequently excellent singles, guest verses, or live appearances, she hasn't released an album since then and only set off on her first ever national headlining tour this July. And that is true. It's like you in your mid 50s and you just doing your first headlining tour, which I don't understand. Like, of all the years Missy Elliott's been out making music, she should have been doing a headlining tour. But I know she had like the Graves' disease. She's been going through it medically. Like, there's been a lot of stuff going on. And she's been kind of behind the scenes a lot and making a song here and there. But yeah, we have not gotten a new album from Missy since the Cookbook. And I feel like at this point, she probably feels like I don't need to make another album. I mean, I would love another album from Missy, but I feel like y'all are ridiculous. But I guess if they're going by their numbers and their time frame and all other stuff, they got to abide by that. And they got Nelly. Now, child, Nelly's another one that is in the same vein of like a 50 Cent or a Future. They got a lot of songs or whatever, but I really don't feel like Nelly had that big of a cultural impact to be even a part of that list. Yeah, he was a staple in the whole world of MTV, but as far as like impact or pop star of the century, yeah, I don't see him being on that list. So they basically said the reason why they put him, Nelly was ubiquitous during the first 10 years of the 21st century, but the past 15 have been light on crossover hits and with bigger gaps in output, and was understandable for a veteran artist, but enough to blunt his modern appeal. Well, especially if you're a rapper, like they don't pretty much have a lot to say when it comes to that whole genre of music. The next person they got, Olivia Rodrigo. Well, I would say the reason why they probably didn't pick Olivia Rodrigo because she's young. Like she's new. She has only 2 albums that's out. And so, yeah, she's breaking records, selling out arenas all over the world, and had a very successful tour. I told you I worked her 3 out of her 4 shows at the Garden. So I know her damn set list inside and out by the time the last show came on. Singing up in there talking about social suicide, child. So let's see why they didn't put her on the list. It's probably for the exact reason I said. And I forgot that she was from High School Musical. And she had Sour and Guts. Those 2 albums, those only ones she has that came out. Although I have to give it up to her because she's someone who I was like, this girl appreciates a lot of old school rock music, and especially when she had the Breeders as an opening act on the tour, which you don't see a lot of young artists doing that. So the reason why they said they didn't put her on the list is because she wasn't alive at the beginning of the century and has only been a star for the past 3.5 years, which came relatively quickly. I mean, she's been working at it since she was a little kid. Like she's always been performing, but yeah, she didn't become a music star until like the past 3 years. And you know, the same person that produced her music produces for Chapel Roan. So they said that she's accomplished a ton in a relatively short amount of time, but it's still early days. Don't be shocked to see her on this list and we update it in 25 years, though. Well, child, I'll probably be old, but in the next 25 years. So yeah, I'm sure she would. Now they got my girl Alicia Moore on here. Why y'all do Pink like that? Now Pink need to be up here, but what they had to say. First of all, where's her picture? There it is. Hey, girl. Well, you know, she's selling out stadiums and things. But y'all don't want to give her flowers? Sounds about right, because y'all never be giving Pink the respect that, you know, she deserves. So they said Pink never fit into the pop star mold as she sang on, you know, that Misunderstood album. With her purposely rebellious image acting as a rough edge answer to the bubblegum boom of the turn of the century, but her hits were undeniable. After a feisty R&B inspired breakthrough with There You Go back in 2000, her top 40 cred was cemented as part of a quartet behind the Moulin Rouge commissioned 2001 Hot 100 #1 cover of Lady Marmalade. That was just one of the 4 #1 hits from 15 top 10s, as she also topped the chart in 2008 Sassy So What, 2010's Outkast anthem Raise Your Glass, and 2013's Nate Russ duet Just Give Me a Reason. The scrappy artist has taken her career to new heights thanks to her acrobatic live performances, most notably her gorgeous glitter in the air routine at the 2010 Grammys, and is still smashing Billboard box score records with Cirque du Soleil worthy aerial feats at every show. Now, why the hell is she not on the list then? They said because she's a touring legend with a deep catalog, but she's never strung enough huge hit songs and albums together in any one era to truly dominate the pop landscape. So she's a legacy act. She's a person at this point that, you know what, if Pink goes out on tour and does the, you know, people are gonna go and they're gonna buy a ticket because they know they're gonna get a great show from her. But as far as like her chart dominance, it's just non-existent. And I guess that's fine. Now we almost done because it's a long ass list. Now they got Smelly on here, as y'all like to call him yesterday. Post Malone. Why they didn't put him on here? They said though he feels like he's already been with us forever at this point. Post Malone has really only been a star for 8 years. Damn, only 8 years. And about half of those years were looking kind of dicey as Posty tried to figure out his place in a post-pandemic world until he got some help in 2024 from Beyonce, Taylor Swift, and of course Morgan Wallen. So like we were saying yesterday, is that some people were saying, oh, well, he's not, you know, he wanted to go into the whole hip hop thing and people weren't really giving him the respect or whatever, or of allowing him to explore, you know, getting into hip hop music. So he just kind of was just like, well, fuck it. I'm gonna leave hip hop and I'm gonna go to country, because then he realized where I guess he fit, because people were looking at it like, don't get me wrong, we have a lot of white guys who do hip hop. But if you can't figure out where you fit in that, you got to kind of make your own little lane. And I guess he could bring those hip hop influences, which is more acceptable when it comes to white people, over into country music and then rock and all those other things to mix that up. Because remember last year, didn't he play Coachella with Bad Bunny? That first of all, that performance was a mess. Not necessarily was his fault with just some tech issues, but he was up there performing with Bad Bunny. So now he's found his place. And now that's why we were saying in the show yesterday, everybody was like, well, now he's coming out with a country country music album. Okay, so now they got Sean Paul up in here. Who else? SZA, and that's it, I believe. Because now I'm getting like, I'm tired of talking about these people. So I have to say, because I know this segment probably went on for a good 30 damn minutes. What do y'all think of this list? Do y'all agree with the fact of why they didn't put these celebrities on this list? Let me know. And who do you think is going to be on the list when they actually drop it? Who knows when they're going to actually drop the list? But I guess we'll go over it when they start releasing it bit by bit as the end of the year, as the third quarter of 2024 gets near. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Now, hold on, I need some water. Because all that talking out of cold throat, tell the dope, read the bitch. Shout out to Miss Electra Abundance. I had to scroll. There's a lot of comments up in here. It has 37. Not be keeping count. Okay. They said no to 50. No, he shouldn't be on there. Onyx said 57 is iconic. 50 Cent is iconic, but he really did peak in the mid 2000s. He fell off bad after that. That's why I say he was sort of like 50 Cent never really had that many hits. That's why I told you. I remember like when he performed at Andrew Schultz concert. And then I believe he also came out during another segment. I forget. Oh, he did. He came out during Nicki Minaj show. The Pink Friday too. He came out during a point while she was in the back doing God knows what. Because even after he was done on stage, she still was late to the damn stage to finish the rest of it. I'm like, girl, you need to your timing and how to get this thing going, you need to work on that. But with the whole thing with him, I do agree. He doesn't have that many hits. And that's why it was like it took 10 minutes to go through, or maybe less, to go through all his hits, his medley of hits, because it had to be put in that way. Where he had to have like four other dudes up there rapping alongside him. I'm like, what's this? When did you become a hip hop group? Like you can't rap your own shit and just have like your hype man up there, as they normally do in these situations. Alicia Keys is boring. Just like, yeah, her is boring, SZA's boring, and Alicia is boring. I'm sorry, but that whole genre of music, I can't get behind. It's like y'all are boring me. I need a little, I need a little something, something when I be listening to my music. I can't be sitting there listening to it. Like if I want to go to sleep, I'll listen to some damn Alicia or some her. I don't even listen to Alicia because first of all, her vocals be always trying to go to a place that her actual throat won't let them vocals go. So I don't understand. And so they said 50 was gangster rap, which was dying. Yeah, it's like he came at the butt end of it. LOL, they reading Alicia, okay? I haven't listened to an album of hers since like 2010. Yeah, and to be honest, I don't really listen to Alicia like that. Like if I happen to be in the, out and about and Alicia comes on, it's like okay. Or if I'm in the car and she comes on, it's like okay. But Alicia is not somebody that I seek out to want to listen to. It's out of everyone, Billie is the most worthy of being in the top 25. Yeah, but I guess they're trying to say because she ain't been around long enough and she ain't putting out enough songs. But I'm like, what exactly is the thing that I guess they did mention what it was, but it was just child. It's so confusing trying to figure out, okay, what are the rules with these things? Like to me, Billboard and Rolling Stone, y'all be getting on my damn nerves. Excuse me, with the reasoning for a lot of what y'all do. I said she's the youngest artist to win 2 Oscars for best. So exactly. So look, I don't think she even cares. So it's like, okay, I'm not on your stupid list, but guess what? I got a bunch of Grammys. I got a bunch of Oscars. I don't know if she has an Emmy, but I think Billie and her brother Phineas, maybe they need to kind of dabble like Alicia Keys is with that Hell's Kitchen play and dabble in musical and dabble into musicals. Maybe that should be the next thing that they get into scoring a musical, come up with some songs, whatever the case is, so you can get that Tony, and then find a way to get you an Emmy. Birds of a Feather went RIAA certified platinum. He said happier than ever is underrated. I feel like Phineas is too critic obsessed. He started trashing HTE after it didn't win any Grammys. He also threw shit. Well, maybe what he needed to do, yeah, I do agree that maybe he needs to stop worrying about what the critics say and all this other stuff. Just go out there and make your damn music. Who cares what these people say? Because when you start verbally, like publicly, verbally saying these things, it hurts you. It's going to hurt your chances. So just kitchen table talk, like the background, my kitchen table talk. So it's like, well, Chris Brown hasn't really had it quiet as it's kept. And you putting 40 damn songs on one album ain't, doesn't count. Because I remember one of his songs being used in a Double Mint commercial. Oh, Chris Brown? I'm happy Christina didn't make the list. Well, we did talk about how like a lot of people don't like Christina because of that attitude. Bionic is yeah, it is. I like Bionic, but like they were saying, it's like, you know what? Gaga just didn't like the fact that Christina was out here. Oh, she's copying me. Well, how you think Madonna felt, sis, when you was out here copying her? And not only her, Curly, a bunch of other artists that you was out here swagger jagging from. Um, or Grace Jones, David Bowie. Like, how many people Gaga took from to create what she was doing? So for you to get mad at Christina for doing it, which caused Perez Hilton to jump on the line and start coming up with Flop Tina and all that other stuff because he was defending his friend. That's where all of that came from because he and her were close at one point. But then I think they had a falling out because I don't know, there was something going on. He interviewed her and I guess she was having a bad day or something or another, and he was asking her a bunch of questions that kind of pissed her off. Like was talking about some songs or whatever, and then started talking about her relationship, and she was just it was just a bad one. She felt like he was trying to set her up or something or another. I don't know. It was a lot going on with those two, but it was like the difference was Britney and Christina were friends as kids. Yeah, they were Mickey Mouse Club. Her attitude, and I guess she grew up before her audience. I don't think Xtina's fan base was ready for sex and grown up subjects. But I don't think, well, me thinking back on that, it's like, yeah, a lot of us, when you're young and innocent, you're not thinking about like where all this comes from. All of a sudden, you miss Genie in a bottle, and now you up in here wearing chaps with your ass cheeks hanging out and allegedly hunching all these damn people behind the scenes. Fred Durst, um, and a bunch of other people, allegedly. But then they said she was hunching Eminem too. Yeah, Christina turned a lot of people off by being bitchy and seeing spoiled. And then it was like her ego and attitude. Because it's like, yeah, I know I can say it's like, okay, but that don't mean that ain't worth the price of tea in China in this industry. There's a lot of people who aren't the greatest singers that have surpassed and have better success. And I think it's because it's relatability. I feel like we see it now more because it's the industry and it's social media and stuff. But I think back then we didn't have words to put to it, but we gravitate more towards people who are more relatable versus just you can't get away with being famous just off of your talent alone. Especially coming up in the MTV era. I remember at the Grammys this year when she was not pretending, presenting Best Latin Pop. Her hair brushed, whipped, and something to somebody, and she didn't even bother to apologize. Well, I must have missed that. You hit somebody with your weave? Or just 4 albums. And she made a cultural impact in terms of memorable performances. The hit songs, Doja is also kind of unlikable. Well, yeah, it's that too, because she be gaslighting her damn fans too. Brat Summer could have been Radical Optimism's moment, but she flopped. Dula Peep is just basic to me. She's not interesting enough and lacks personality and uniqueness. I thought you said ugliness, but you know what? I actually agree with that. I do feel like that she is kind of boring. She feels like just like some old blank canvas. Like there's nothing behind those eyes. I don't think her new album is very good. I only like a couple of songs. Like, yeah, I haven't really revisited Radical Optimism, to be honest. And they said there aren't very many pop stars now with much personality. Ain't that the truth? But y'all need to develop them, especially in the social media space. Everybody be looking for authenticity, relatability. You got to be able to present some sort of personality. Putting out songs and trying to edit the fact that you're not a very good dancer with really good editing is not enough. Prince said Future is kind of the it boy in rap music. Jennifer never sang nothing. The people that sang for her deserve it. Okay, Ashanti, Natalia Ramos, Christina Milian. But Christina busy. She about to do the new Dexter series. She ain't got no time to be worrying about the stupid ass, music industry and all they politics. I've said for a while, Jennifer's music career is a side project. Yep. Just like people have outgrown Miss Katy Perry. She another one. I'm surprised they put her on the list. But watch her make that other list. Spring Breakers from Brat Deluxe is very Kesha coded. I'm sure she was inspired by her. I love me some Keisha, but back in the day, I used to call her Keisha. Like, oh, she black? I hope she gets her flowers, as she should. I said my favorite song from Lord is, well, I do like that Green Light song. I think Lord only has 3 albums. You might be right. Lana and Lorda in my top 10 of all time very much are anti-pop. And that's what I think a lot of these people need to understand is that not everybody wants to be jumping up in here not everybody wants to be a superstar. Some people just want to create and make music. And they garner a big audience from that, and that's great. She Will Be Loved by Maroon 5 is going viral right now on TikTok. I added it to one of my playlists. Can you imagine what he probably sounds like trying to sing that song today? Probably a mess. Why can't you give me the respect that I'm entitled to? And I was thinking that too. Did I allude to that when I said that? Oh, yeah. Look, Mommy Dearest. I do love that movie. Was that Pink had to wait until both Britney and Christina saw their career faltered. Did she? Well, I think Pink was always going to do her thing. Britney, Rihanna, Ariana, a few others, including Beyonce, Justin Timberlake. This chart run makes him eligible. Oh, so they're probably going to be on the list. Britney, Riri, Ariana, Beyonce. Of course, Beyonce is going to be on the list. First of all, if they did not include her on the list, they would have cussed Billboard out. I remember when 50 was on TRL the same day as Madonna, and it was fangirling over her. But now I'm sitting there wondering if I think I was working at VH1 that day. Because I remember I was working on something with the producer who was interviewing Keisha Cole. And I believe right next door, they were filming TRL. And we were literally in the same area. And yeah, I was working on the thing with Keisha Cole. And then next door, I remember 50 Cent was there. So I'm trying to remember if Madonna was there too. SZA isn't boring. Maybe the music just isn't for you, but I'm crazy over her. Well, if you like it, I love it. And then she called him out on it. I wouldn't be surprised if Charlie XCX makes it 25 pop stars of the 20th century. If she does, I love her, but Billboard took almost a decade to get where she is at the boom clap. Um, has she been around long? Well, how long has Charlie been around? 10 years? I'm wondering. So Trump is losing. Losing? Child, that heifer lost his mind a long time ago. He could barely, stitch words together, make a damn sentence. The man is rambling, is making no. That's all the time. That's basically Trump. Period. He rambles. Like they said, oh, he was going to be going to. Yesterday, I was in the gym working out, and they be having the news and stuff on. So I'll be watching the TV every now and again in between. If I'm on the bike riding it for like 45 minutes after I've done my deadlifts and all that other craziness, I'll be like, okay, let me just go ride the bike. So the times when I'd be glancing up at the news, and I was sitting there, they were like, oh, he's on his way. I forget where they was talking about. I guess he was going to a swing state, and he was supposed to talk about the economy. And I said, yeah, he going to talk about the economy. This is bringing it back to the rambling thing you're about to say. I mean, that you said. And it was like, oh, yeah, he going to talk about the economy. He going to say economy, and then just start rambling about they trying to take your black jobs and a whole bunch of other bullshit that he likes to ramble on about. And it's like, okay, sir, what the fuck are you talking about? And to me, I was like, I get all this hype around Kamala. I don't know if she's gonna do anything different. We'll see. But America ain't ready to like really look at politics the way a lot of people that I know that I'm friends with on social media constantly go in on politics in regards of, oh yeah, this one's evil, that one's evil. The Democrats are basically centrist Republicans, is what they're being referred to as, where it's like the Republicans are on the far right, the MAGA Republicans. You got the Democrats are centrist Republican, pretending to be Democrats. So they say, "Oh yeah, vote Jill Stein." But didn't I just see a picture of that bitch hanging out with Putin? So she's not. Is she no different? Is she gonna be the one to save this country? I feel like at this point, people are not ready to really dissect the shit that goes on with this country. And I ain't got time to dig up in all of that. He said, Felix, no one is even worse. I said, Xtina is that BF all the haters. Well, we got a story about Christina coming up right after this one. Swift, Beyonce, Drake, Weeknd, Adele, Nicki, Ariana for sure. Well, of course, they're going to put the winners list because say what you want about a lot of these artists, but yeah, not only have they had a lot of chart success, but they've also had a lot of cultural impact on the culture. Now, here's the tea, the gag, I guess we should say. Now, they're going to have Beyonce and Taylor Swift in the top 5. I'll even go as far as to say top 2. Who do you think is going to be the number 1 artist? I guarantee you they're going to pick Taylor Swift and people are going to get mad. But I'm going to have to keep it 100. I may not be a fan of Taylor Swift's music for the most part. I do like a couple of her songs. Y'all do know, like I said, because when she went a little pop at one point, I do love 1989. Outside of the other stuff, I like 1989 because 1989 is like, I like a little yang yang. I like a little, with my music. I got to be able to pump or snap my neck at times, especially when I need workout music and all this other stuff. So I do love that record. It was a fun album. But anyway, so when thinking about all of that, it's sort of like, yeah, I really feel like this, like Taylor Swift and the Swifties have a much bigger impact on the culture than Beyonce and the Beehive. And it could be, the fact that she's a white girl and Beyonce is black. So it could be that, but they're neck and neck. But I feel like Billboard is going to go with Taylor Swift being number one. So the payola playlist, not the payola playlist, amazes me. American Life bomb, but she is still huge. Well, look, I love that damn album. I don't care what anybody say. Just like how y'all be saying, "Oh yeah, this one's underrated," or all this other stuff. It's like I live for that song, that album. But it's much appreciated now. He said Gaga too. He's telling a weird story, which is obviously, well, everything that comes out that man's mouth is a lie. I'm surprised he could be able to stitch words together with them fake ass teeth in his mouth. And he said, True Romance, Charlie's debut album came out in 2013. Nucleus Season and Take My Hand were by Urban Outfit, not Urban Outfitters jams. And it said the day Madonna was on with 50, she was promoting the remix and revisited EP. It was like a week or two after the Britney Christina kiss. Damn, I'm trying to remember when I started working when was I at VH1? I think it was like 15 years ago. So I don't even know if that was when that happened. It's funny, like when time flies, you don't be realizing it. But anyway, let's move on. Because we have how many topics? I mean, how many more topics we got to go? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 6 more topics after we get to this one. So if you can, hit that like button, that subscribe button, smash that notification button if you haven't already, so that we when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Now let's get into this other Christina Aguilera story, because she is gracing the cover. I don't know why my channel started all of a sudden closing out a lot of stuff. But anyway, she's on the cover of Glamour magazine and she's opening up about a lot of things. She's talking about her weight, and she's also opening up, speaking of Britney and Madonna kiss. So we were mentioning that prior to, she's opening up about that. So speaking to Glamour, Christina addresses the media scrutiny on her body, admits what she didn't love about being a bubblegum superstar, and looks back at the infamous VMA kiss. Christina Aguilera don't give a fuck about anybody's comments about her body, because you know what? At the end of the day, as she said before, words can't bring me down. You had to throw in that I Am Beautiful reference, because we talking about Christina. So in a new Glamour cover story, the Dirty singer opens up about her scrutiny over her weight, something she's dealt with from both the public and media ever since she started in the industry back in 1989 with the release of Genie in a Bottle. Now, looking back, the 43-year-old singer told the magazine most of her self-esteem came from how skinny I was back in the day. She said, when you're a teenager, you have a very different body than when you're in your 20s. I started to fill out, and then that was unacceptable because it was like, oh, she's getting thicker. They recall, I had industry people, they like your body and how you were as a skinny teenager. While that was then, Aguilera said now she doesn't listen to the noise. She says, I have a maturity now where I just don't give a fuck about your opinion. I'm not going to take it on, said the singer. It must be your responsibility to take up your space. Other people's opinions of me are not my business. Well, look, RuPaul said it best. Whatever you think of me is none of my business. And to be honest, it's like, first of all, how can you compare someone's body from when they're like 11 to like 21 and think that you can maintain that body when you're in your 20s, 30s, and 40s. It's like, yeah, there was a point where Christina started to fill out and she started getting a little thicker and she had a little booty and she had, hips and all that other stuff. But that happens when you get older. You all of a sudden, like, some people are late bloomers. There's some that develop relatively early. And then we hear some of these stories about so many girls and even some guys who they have problems with when your body is going through this change because your hormones are out of whack and trying to maintain that sort of balance. If these people in the industry actually knew about, basic anatomy, they wouldn't be saying anything. But yeah, when you got a bunch of shady ass grown people run up in here saying all kinds of craziness, what do you expect? So they also said it wasn't just the focus of her physique that bothered her about the early days of her career, as Aguilera also admitted she didn't love the bubblegum thing she was a part of at the time. Well, girl, you didn't really have control over the type of music you were going to be able to sing once you sign a record deal. They tell you what you pretty much going to do because a lot of times they feel like a lot of these artists don't know what direction they want to take. It's all about you need to appeal to a certain demographic. And her being young, and of course, her and Britney coming up around the same time as some of the other pop girls, is like, this is the genre you need to play into. Bubblegum pop is hot right now. You need to capitalize. And with Britney being such a success, they were looking for a bunch of Britney clones, not just Christina, but Mandy Moore, Jessica Simpson, and so many other girls. Even Pink, but Pink rejected that. She was like, I'm gonna be a rebel. She said, well, you had to play a virgin but not act like one. When I was performing Genie and What a Girl Wants and Come On Over, I got bored easily. Creatively, it was one dimensional. She was also way too busy at the time telling the mag, literally every second of my life then, we accounted for in a schedule. You can't just live your life for work where it's just unenjoyable. You get burnt out. And maybe her overall attitude was reflecting that, which is why maybe her career hasn't really been as big as it was, because she was like, I'm not really feeling this stuff that y'all trying to make me sing. But she did open up about her three-way kiss with Britney and Madonna at the 2003 MTV VMAs. She said, love a good makeout moment. I love a theme. I love a concept. I love a specific character to get into, she said of the performance, which saw the trio perform a mashup of Like a Virgin, Hollywood, and Work It. Britney and Christina dressed as brides, and Madonna was their groom. They said, Madonna playing the role of the groom. It was such a cool, like, wow, we're up here with Madonna, and we're part of this huge moment. She added, I should say. They is not her pronoun. She said, it was really fun. The energy leading up to it, the rehearsals, everything, it was pretty magical. And I have to say that it actually was pretty magical, and that she didn't get to, live that moment or whatever, because um since this was shortly after Justin and Britney broke up. Then they wound up doing the whole kiss thing, and the camera was so fixated on wanting to get Justin's reaction that she kind of got lost in the sauce. But it was good from here outside. Now, as far as her body goes, first of all, Christina looks great. Do I think she on Ozempic? Is the Pope Catholic? She's definitely giving me, she has definitely had some help. Now, in regards of, like, if I was in a situation where I was like way too big for my body, I probably would do what she would do. I'd probably take a little Ozempic, but then right after, it's like, okay, now you have the access for a nutritionist, a trainer, that sort of thing. I would maintain that body. But it's like, if you want a little help, why not go out there and get the help that you need? So if y'all interested in checking out that issue of Glamour magazine, definitely check it out. And shout out to Christina, and good for her. I mean, I don't know if people care enough about the music and stuff anymore. Is she still doing that residency at the Voltaire like Kylie Minogue was doing at one point? So I'll say all this to say, I'm curious about that. But Christina's always going to be in the zeitgeist. She's always going to be out here doing and making her music and performing and all that other stuff, because she's a legend. She's Legendina. So I started to say, what do y'all think of this story and her talking about her weight? Do you think she was on the Ozempic? And do you also think that, of what she had to say in regards to her kiss with Britney and Madonna? Madonna. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay. So now let's slide on up, slide to the left, slide to the right. Everybody clap your hands. Okay. It said the check cleared for Katy Perry and Video Vanguard. Oh, so that's who's getting the Video Vanguard is Katy Perry? Really? Well, you want to know something? She did put out some really good videos. Teenage Dream was a good one. E.T. was a good one. California Girls was a good one. So we're not going to take that from her. Back in the day, yes. But honey, when you say the check cleared for that Video Vanguard Award, it ain't going to clear when that album come out on the 20th. And so they said, plus then she had kids at one point. Remember when she was dating homosexual, the little Spanish boy with the braids that she was performing with back in Genie in the Bottle and the Come On Over video? He was cute. Then somebody told me that he was making out with a boy at the club. Yeah, I knew that too. And they said her strip album. Yeah, it was a good album. I actually like her strip album. Is that the one that had I was gonna say Lollipop Candyman. Lollipop Candyman is an Aqua song, but she did have a song called Candyman. And it says Strip was a good album. Yes, it was. Calling her debut album one dimensional as if Lotus and Liberation weren't trained. I mean, when you right, you're right. Although they did have some good songs in it. I did love that song. All I want to do is hunch your body. I know that's not the lyrics. That was a good damn song. But yeah, I do agree. Lotus and Liberation were not really good albums. I said that song Accelerate was a painful listen. Yeah, so stripped and back to basics. No, back to basics had Candyman on it. And I like the whole Baby Jane persona. And I like how she kind of went and had like those retro, sounds like very much like Etta James and that whole vibe, but also kind of gave it more of like um a modern influence. Like it was very updated, but she took music from the past and kind of brought it into the today. So I actually like that album. I do think that Strip and Back to Basics were good albums. So I do agree with that. But those were, in my opinion, her best two albums. And I actually like Bionic too. There's some songs in it, but I feel like that album suffers the same way Rebel Heart suffers. There's too many damn songs on that record. It should have been kind of just down where it made sense. And she definitely does look good. It's funny, like 40s is hit different. Like my generation of 40 is so different from my parents' generation and the ones before that. And I feel like the next generation, when Gen Z turn 40, y'all gonna be looking like y'all 12. Can you imagine? Not George Santos. Oh yeah. Oh, you know too? You know about Miss Jorge? Shout out to him. I'm gonna say I'm gonna ate his ass. Like I did Mario Vasquez from American Idol. But anyway, let's move on. Okay, they said I entered the contest. She had to remix her song. Yeah, but I do like that song. But anyway, let's move on. Let's not talk about my sexcapades with former American Idol alums. This generation's 40 something people still exactly. That's what I said. Like, um, I love when I tell people my age, they be like, "Oh, you look good for your age." I'm like, "Child, that's because I don't be out here, I got that melanin. And I don't be out here drinking my woes away and making my skin look like it and looking all leathery and shit." Since mine and Beyonce birthday is coming up in the next 3 weeks? What's today? The 15th. I'm gonna look at the calendar. 3 weeks, yeah. Anyway, so let's move on from one um legacy act to another, and let's talk about Usher, who is being dragged by his fans online for postponing his show at the last minute. So hours before he was set to take the stage, Usher has announced that he is postponing the opening night of his past, present, future tour. First of all, I didn't even know he was doing another tour, because wasn't he just doing a tour in France, like a residency or something or another, which I believe they're turning into turned into a movie that I think is supposed to be, I think, released theatrically. So I think he's doing the same thing that Taylor Swift and Beyonce did with their music tours. But speaking of which, where the hell is the Renaissance movie? We still waiting on that, Queen Bee. So Usher fans are not happy with the singer after he announced the postponement of his past, present, future tour just hours before he was set to take the stage on opening night in Atlanta. The singer, who's been known to go the extra mile to maintain his fit physique, took to Instagram on Wednesday and told his followers that he would be postponing the tour as he gives his body a second to rest and heal. He said, for my 30-year shit, I can't tell. Hold on. For my 30 plus year career, 100% of my blood, sweat, and tears has gone into putting on the best performance and creating a memorable experience for my fans. This is what he wrote. I have every intention of doing that for this tour, as well as which is why I have decided to postpone tonight's show and reschedule it for a later date to give my body a second to rest and heal. Oh damn! This is why I should let the damn tweet open, because now the tweet is gone. They took the damn tweet down, and I wanted to show it to y'all. This is why a lot of times when I get posts or whatever, I like to leave the windows open, because then they can't remove stuff. So it says you're still going to get a bit of the past, some of the present, and a unique look into the future on the rescheduled date, but you'll also be getting 100% of me. The good singer continued by saying, the last thing I want to ever do is disappoint you, the fans who have been eagerly awaiting for this tour to start. However, I wouldn't be the entertainer that I am if I can't physically give you my best. Well, that sounds very noble of him at least going out of his way and giving that full long-winded speech, or an apology, as you can call it. He concluded his statement by promising that his team would update fans with the rescheduled date soon, saying, I can't wait to celebrate this legacy with you. Well, child, the fans was mad, and rightfully so. And here's what they said. He said, one person said, I drove hours to see you tonight. All the rehearsal you've been posting and whatnot, and now today you postponed the opening day. This is crazy. Is what one fan wrote in the comment section on his social media post. Another person said, you had since February to get it together. I'm upset and very at that. Angry emojis, 4 of them. They said, you knew this since last night. I bet you do the concert on Friday and Saturday, though. Well, he said he's only doing the first night. But if his next show is not until Saturday, then that means what was yesterday, Tuesday? So you got a good 3 days to get yourself together. Another Instagram user said canceling the day of is crazy after spending money for tickets, flight, hotel, and more to be in ATL when the announcement is made is insane. Another person put to whomever has normalized canceling shows hours before that, people have planned for months in advance, including travel, childcare, work, hotel accommodations, business adjustments, etc. It's just not okay. Stop it, another person said. Another person said, extenuating circumstances occur, but this is a sloppy business practice and totally unacceptable. His rest schedule post Super Bowl should have taken into account the start of this tour and managed accordingly. That should not have taken him or his team by surprise. And look, this is not the first time he's canceled, because in May, he canceled his Lovers and Friends Festival in a similar fashion, but they said it was because of the weather. Now, here's the thing. I understand when you're in a stadium, that situation where you have to risk worrying about possible rain, and that's why you can't do a show, which has happened. I remember somebody was telling me that when one of my coworkers at City Field was telling me that when Gaga performed at City Field last year, she performed in the rain and everything, but she had to cancel a date, I believe, in Atlanta because she came down with a cold. And those are the things you have to worry about. I was like, yeah, you singing full out, all this other stuff. She don't lip sync, all that other stuff. And then you're in the rain. You have to worry about the weather and the constant changes and when you're traveling and stuff. And yeah, I agree with that. And also, people need to look at Usher as like, yeah, while we were just talking about people who are in their 40s looking young, on the inside, we be feeling like our bones is about to break. Like, I be needing a day to recuperate. Like that day after I went out to the club in Brooklyn, I needed a full day to recuperate, but I couldn't because I had to work the next day. So I was literally walking through the whole day like a damn zombie. Like I was just like holding it together. If it wasn't for if I didn't have coffee, I probably have been passed out on the damn floor. I wouldn't have made it. So I totally get it, but I understand, like, Usher, you need to pace yourself. You need to do better by your team. And I also think a lot of you artists, you put in a simple little Instagram post about social media just won't do. I feel like a lot of times y'all really have to take into consideration, especially someone like Usher. Usher's fan base, it's not like you got little kids up in there. You're not pulling like little Olivia Rodrigo type kids. You're pulling in women who got kids, people who have to get a babysitter and arrange for like situations so that way they can come and see you. Like the type of people that I know that went to the, what is it, Queens of R&B tour, the one with SWV and Escape. Those are the type of women that he's pulling in to go see his show. So I feel like, yeah, you got to do better, sir. And I get it. Like, you have to understand now, like, yeah, you're not 25 anymore. You're 45. You're going to be 46 in October. So you need to really take into consideration who your demographic is and how people are going to, and the fact that people spend the amount of money they're going to do. Can they even get a refund for the hotel and the plane ticket and all this other stuff? And now they're going to find out when they're going to reschedule. And even if they want to do that, now you're probably going to have those same people probably going to want a refund and be like, fuck it, I'm not going to go. Like, I'll see it another way. You can go and watch it on YouTube because trust and believe somebody gonna record the whole damn thing and put it up there anyway and do what everybody else concert. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Do you think that Usher need to do better by how if your body's not up to it, you should let people know? Like, I'm sure during that day you knew that you were gonna be able to do that tour. Like, I mean, the opening night. Like, let people know in the morning or at least the night before. Or you know what? Sometimes I would think like with me, later, like how I felt the night before, I'll feel different the next day. But if I'm waking up that the next day, the day of, and I feel a kind of way, I'm like, you know what? We're just gonna have to cancel it because I can't do it. Like my body is feeling a certain way. Like he just came off of doing some other stuff. He also has a wife and some kids, so it's not like he just. And then the strenuousness of a tour, I really don't feel he's giving his body a break because he was just, did the Super Bowl. You did a residency over in Paris. Now you coming home and doing another tour. Like you have to give your body a break. Like to compare him to Justin Timberlake because they both in the same level in regards to like the type of music they do. In so many ways, like R&B pop, I do feel like the only thing Justin had going on was his current tour. It's not like he had a million other things that he was doing on top of that. Usher's had a lot on his plate in 2024, so he should have paced himself because, yes, sir, you're not 25 anymore. You're 45, and 45 hits way different than 25. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, they said this generation's 40. Some people, oh yeah, said that already. He pulled it. Anna, you said Anita Baker, Anna Lauren Hill. And it said the Renaissance visuals are being released at the very end of the Act era with Cowboy Carter's visuals. At Act 3 is one big long 3-hour music film. Oh, so they actually gonna put up. China might got time for that. Like I want the damn first run. So they're gonna probably put all 3 acts together, and then we'll get it in like a box set, so that way Beyonce can get more of our money. I said, didn't they release the Renaissance in theaters? That was about it. But you can actually watch like Taylor Swift's Eras tour is already on Disney Plus. So that came and went. And she was still doing the Eras tour, but she changed it up. But Beyonce, we still haven't gotten her Renaissance. Because, yeah, it's not streaming anywhere. But anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about Nick Carter. It seemed like I told y'all it was a pop music day. But we got the latest on his SA case, which I was actually curious about that. So, Nick Carter is facing complications from 3 separate legal battles over SA allegations. That ain't the word they use. They actually use the R word. But we got to be careful when it comes to certain words that we be using on this damn channel, especially on the YouTube. So a Nevada judge has dismissed a defamation lawsuit filed by Backstreet Boys singer Nick Carter against Ashley Rep, the accuser who alleges Carter SA'd her on a yacht, almost said the other word, on a yacht in 2003 when she was 15 years old. Now, Carter countersued Rep with the defamation claims in January after she became the 3rd woman to sue him for alleged SA. In her underlying lawsuit filed in August of 2023, Rep alleged Carter had sex with her in 2003 while she was intoxicated and a guest at his family's compound in Marathon, Florida. She initially filed as a Jane Doe, but later participated in the docuseries Fallen Idols, Nick and Aaron Carter, which I believe is currently on Max if you have that channel. I know it's on was it Investigation Discovery, but if you have the streaming service, it's on Max. So it said in his countersuit, Carter claimed that Rep told him she was 18 years old. Carter admitted in the filing that he had slept with her in 2003, but he called it consensual, saying it took place after they spent several days together and developed a connection. Now, at a hearing in Las Vegas on Tuesday, Clark County Judge Joe Hardy Jr. said Carter had no grounds to go after Rep for calling him a racist because their sexual interaction met the standard for statutory R word until Florida law. Under Florida law. They said the truth is an absolute defense. This is what Judge Hardy ruled from the bench. Based on Carter's own judicial admissions, they did hunch, they had sexual relations, and she was a minor. Because I'm like, y'all need to do the math and say, like, well, how old was she when y'all in 2003? Look at the birth certificate or her ID or whatever, and look it up and see, like, okay, now was it Was she lying and saying that was her age, or whatever the case was? And that's why he said what he said. The judge also said that Carter's arguments about Rep allegedly being deceitful were irrelevant to her motion to dismiss the defamation countersuit. He said Carter could use those claims to attack Rep's credibility if her lawsuit goes to trial. Now, her birthday and the date they had those sexual relations is undisputed, the judge said Tuesday. People use the phrase statutory R word, and a person who commits statutory R word is the R word. Now, in a related ruling on Tuesday, Judge Hardy also shot down Carter's attempt to get the sexual batteries lawsuit filed by another accuser, Shannon Rue, thrown out. Now, in the motion asking for summary judgment in his favor, Carter claimed that Rue's allegations simply weren't possible. Now, in her lawsuit filed in December 2022, Ruth claimed that Carter SA'd her on a tour bus in February of 2001 after a concert in Tacoma, Washington. And so now let's pull up one of the accusers. They said her accusations are factually impossible. This is what Carter's lawyer, Liane Wakayama, argued at the Tuesday hearing posted online by the nonprofit website Our Nevada Judges. She argued that fans spotted Carter leaving the concert and arriving at his hotel without any notable delay. Now, Ruth's lawyer disputed the claim, arguing that a friend of Ruth's called that Ruth was escorted away for an autograph, and later returned hysterical and disheveled. We've never alleged the assault took place for hours, lawyer Mark Boscovich argued before the judge's ruling. It could have taken minutes for those events to transpire. Now, Judge Hardy agreed that that genuine issues of material fact remained, so Carter's motion was denied. Miss Ruth is pleased that she'll be able to show the truth to the injury. Sorry, the jury. What is going on in my brain today? Boscovich said in a statement to Rolling Stone on Wednesday, Carter's lawyers did not respond to a request for comment on the Tuesday hearing. So they said the two rulings against Carter came 2 weeks after Carter countersued another accuser, Melissa Schulman, for defamation in California. Schulman, a former member of the pop group Dream, I believe that's her at the top of the photo. Actually, that's Melissa Schulman. Alleged Carter drugged and SA'd her at his Santa Monica apartment in 2003 when she was 17. Carter denies the claim before countersuing Schulman in Los Angeles County on July 26. Carter also sued her for defamation along with Ruth and Rep in Nevada. Now, Nick Carter is a violent sexual predator who tries to attack and intimidate his survivors when they speak out. I'm not afraid of his aggressive tactics and lies, Schulman told Rolling Stone of the Nevada rulings. I've experienced truth scrutinized down to every detail, and he should be ready for what happens when his lies are exposed under the microscope of the court. I look forward to his disposition in my case, she said. Ashley and Shay display incredible courage and resilience by standing up to Nick's ferocious attacks against them. So this is basically the whole story and nothing but the story. And while I did not see that Fallen Idols docu-series, I think it's like 3 parts or something or another, I need to get around to it, but I keep forgetting because there's only so many other shows that I need to watch. If y'all have seen it, let me know in the comments. But when they say that people say that they've been assaulted by somebody, believe them. Now, I can understand if it was a one and done. That's like, okay, well, I haven't heard anybody else come out. But we have 3 different women who have said that they were SA'd by him. And are we not inclined to believe these girls? Are we supposed to believe that Nick is innocent in some sort of way? I mean, don't get me wrong, innocent until proven guilty. And it seemed like the judge is just going against everything he's trying to do. He's trying to counter these people, talking about his defamation of character and all this other stuff. And the judge is like, you're reaching. And they have a right to say what they need to say and present what they need to present. And if you need to go to trial, and I think it's hard to prove this sort of thing in court, but we'll see what happens. And I do believe that, there's always going to be people out here, just like you have the R. Kellys and everybody else who's going to be Team Nick. And that's your right to feel that way and believe in what you want to believe. But if he's been out here assaulting women, then he needs to pay the price for that. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Do you believe that Nick Carter could be capable of these sort of things? Look, these days you don't know what people are capable of when they do the things that they do. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, so it said, So I saw a video yesterday, and they said there were barely 1,000 people at his show. But you talking about Justin Timberlake? I know we ain't talking about Nick Carter. Nick Carter can't perform by himself. He be doing he gotta do the Backstreet Boys, child. I mean, that seems to be the only place that way they get their coin. None of them artists been able to stand out and do their own thing. I know like AJ does things outside of the Backstreet Boys musically, and it does whatever, but still the mermaids in the building, you know. So I watched it on Max. Yeah, as I said, it's on Max. There was a few people saying Aaron was speaking out against Nick right before. Yeah, that's what I remember hearing that story too. It was that Aaron was going against his brother a lot in the media and a bunch of other situations. So I do believe, yeah, he was. I remember those. I do remember because I remember talking about it. It said, yeah, Aaron was going live. All right, so now let's go from another pop star. Let's talk about Miss Demi Lovato, who is weighing in on whether or not she will allow her kids to pursue a career in the entertainment industry. So ahead of her upcoming documentary, speaking of documentaries, because she does have one coming out called Child Star, I believe that Raven Simone is a part of it. I also think JoJo Siwa is a part of it as well. So it said Demi Lovato has spoken about their wishes for their future children, specifically about them avoiding child fame and having a childhood. The singer, that's why I'm saying them so damn much. She is they are non-binary and uses they, them, she, her. Well, okay. So I forgot that she did go back to she, and the people was getting mad, and they was like, "Child, would you make up your mind? Like now, all of a sudden, if you was a they them, now you was she it, and all this other shit." And child, don't even get me started with now. They talking about what was the term that they said that Sam Smith came out of? What was it? Semisexual? Something. I said, "Child, I don't get off my line with all these new damn pronouns." But if you like it, I love it. That's all I'll say on that. Now, Demi has admitted that she wouldn't let her potential kids pursue music or acting until they are over the age of 18, giving her personal experience of navigating stardom as a child. The Hulu film Child Star features them interviewing. Okay, so now you're going to be up in here using all of her damn pronouns, interviewing fellow celebrities who shot to fame as minors, including Raven Simone, Christina Ricci, Drew Barrymore, and JoJo Siwa, with Lovato saying they would not want their future child to go through the same struggles. Asked how she would handle her future child wanting to become a performer, the singer told The Hollywood Reporter, "I'd say, let's study music theory and prepare you for the day you turn 18, because it's not happening before that. Not because I don't believe in you or love you or want you to be happy, but because I want you to have a childhood, the childhood that I didn't have." Lovato was thrust into the limelight at the age of 10 when she landed their first screen role on Barney and Friends. I do remember that. Selena Gomez, I believe, also was on Barney. The same age in which fellow Disney, see, now they wrote it in the thing. Selena Gomez was on the show. The star was engaged to partner Jordan Jutes Lutz, okay, whatever that name is, then went on to have their breakthrough with Disney's channel Camp Rock. I remember seeing Camp Rock with the Jonas Brothers. Bitch, that was my movie. At 15 years old, in which she acted alongside an 18-year-old Joe Jonas, which skyrocketed her to international fame. The star has been open about their sobriety journey after revealing they just started abusing drugs around the age of 13 after being prescribed opiates, as well as struggling with alcohol abuse. Now, in the interview, that she added that being the main household earner also made things difficult in her family, saying, quote, "Having a child be the breadwinner almost inherently changes the dynamic of a family, and then it becomes like, how do you discipline that breadwinner?" Which I've always wondered, like, how does that work? Like you literally have the kid being the provider, and then you can't be like, go to your room because you're misbehaving. First of all, she paying the bills on his house. She paying on the mortgage. That car you got in the driveway, I bought it. This is a whole bunch of other stuff that's going on with that. The clothes on your back, I bought it. So how do you discipline the breadwinner? So it makes sense. But in regards to this whole thing, I'm definitely curious to see this docu-series that they have coming out in regards of what it was like growing up as a kid in Hollywood. And the thing is, I will say this, I 1,000% agree with Demi. I do feel like if I was in the same position as her, because you know what, as a kid coming up, I went back and forth with the whole, do I want to be a child star? Do I not want to be a child star? I dabbled, I dipped my toe, I went on auditions, but I really didn't take it seriously. And then in my early 20s and stuff, I started getting more into acting. I would take acting classes, I did a lot of extra work, that sort of thing. Um, and I appeared in a couple of movies, commercials, whatever the case was. I did the Priceline.com commercial. I did a movie called The Next Big Thing, not The Next Best Thing, but The Next Big Thing was like a little indie film. I think they cut my scene out because I was supposed to play one of the friends of one of the lead who was like this fake art guy. Like he becomes like this big superstar. He finds somebody's art in the trash, and then all of a sudden he becomes like famous because he found the art, and then he becomes like a big staple in the New York art scene. So I remember it was like I did a whole lot, but I never really like fully went in on it. I think just like life happened, and I started doing other things. So I do agree with her on that. Like, if I was in the same position as her, what I would do as a kid, like, if I had kids that want, like, daddy, I want to be an actor, I want to be a singer, I want to be an artist. I will put you through the vocal lessons. I will put you into dance class. I will put you into learning how to play an instrument. So you're going to learn how to play the piano. You're going to learn how to play the guitar. You're going to have to learn how to play just those simple two for now. Or if you want to play anything else, you can. So that way you can understand the art of making music. And so I want you to be able to write your own stuff. I want you to be able to know how to play an instrument so you can come up with your melodies and work all that out. So I would have you study. So that way, by the time you're ready and when you turn 18, then you can go off and pursue what you need to pursue, because this industry is very cutthroat. The way they treat kids in this business, I always say I would wish that on my worst enemy. And this is why you see a lot of kids, there's very few that wind up not messed up because they have real good, strong-willed parents. But for the most part, a lot of these kids aren't so lucky, especially when you got a lot of showbiz parents who basically treat their kids like cattle or just like some money-making machine. So I'm definitely with her on this. So I say all this to say, what do you think of this story? I mean, if you were in a position of Demi Lovato and you had children who wanted to jump into the entertainment industry and pursue a career, would you actually let them pursue it? There was somebody, I can't remember who it was, that recently I saw an article where there was another famous person that said that they would let their kids be kids and they wouldn't want to put them automatically. I think they were a child star as well. They said they wouldn't do it, that they would let their kids be kids before they thrust them into the spotlight because they understand how the industry is. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. I said, yeah, it was a solo Nick Carter show, Bailey. What songs he got where he could be doing a solo show? And first of all, if he's doing a solo show where it's barely 1,000 people, I could see him performing like a little club or something. Like, you're not giving selling out an arena. Yes, I know you will all be mad at me, but I have always found that girl overrated. No clue what she did with Disney. No, we wouldn't be mad at you because a lot of people feel like Demi Lovato's overrated. They find her overrated, annoying. She's all those things. I mean, don't get me wrong. And I've always felt like musically she was always a try hard too, similar to Christina Aguilera in regards of how she delivered herself. But um, I am curious because of what this thing that she's got coming out, that I definitely am curious to see what she's got to say in regards of like the music. I mean, the like her career and growing up in the spotlight as a kid, as a child star. Nick, well, child should be a one night only forever type situation. I want to think if he's actually going to go to jail for what he did too. All right, so let's move on. Let's talk about Miss JoJo Siwa, who, speaking of which, we were just talking about her with the whole Demi Lovato interview. Um, I believe from the same docu series or whatever the case is, she's revealing that she was blackballed from Nickelodeon because she came out as a bull dad. So please hold. Okay, excuse me. She said that they blackballed her. Now, shout out to Billboard for the story. They said, unlike the other subjects interviewed in Demi Lovato's upcoming Child Star documentary, JoJo Siwa recalls her early start in the limelight as being mostly positive. One exception, however, would be the aftermath of her coming out as part of the the Lobiquita community. Shout out to T.S. Madison, because that's what she be calling it. The LGBTQ plus community in 2021. In the film, Siwa alleges her coming out led to her partnership with Nickelodeon changing. According to a new article published by The Hollywood Reporter on Wednesday, August 14th, that would be yesterday, the Dance Moms alum claims that the doc, which arrives on Hulu September 17th, I was like, all this hype, and I gotta wait a whole damn month. They said on that comes out on Hulu September 17th that her relationship with the entertainment company has never been the same after she posted a video on social media confirming her queer identity, saying, I basically got blackballed from the company. Sewell also allegedly claims that the president of Nickelodeon called her after she posted her coming out video, saying, what are you going to tell the kids? She recalls him asking, to which she replied, that I'm happy. He then allegedly told a 17-year-old Siwa to have a call with every retailer selling her merch and assured them that she wasn't going crazy. The Karma artist, who was now 21, said she proceeded to get on the phone with Target, Walmart, and Claire's. What was Claire selling them both, them hair bows? So a spokesperson for Nickelodeon, however, denied Siwa's claims in a statement to THR, saying, we are unaware of the incident JoJo is referencing, and she was certainly not blackballed by Nickelodeon. We have valued and supported JoJo throughout our incredibly successful partnership, which included a JoJo-themed Pride collection and a major national retailer among our many collaborations together. We continue to cheer her on and wish her nothing but the best. Now, Siwa first signed with Nickelodeon in 2017 when she was just 13, after that, which she starred in a number of projects for the network, including JoJo Siwa My World, JoJo's Follow Your GREAM, JoJo's Dream Birthday, and the JoJo and Bow Wow Show. She did a show with Bow Wow? A few months after coming out in 2021, Siwa claimed that Nickelodeon was preventing her from singing songs from her musical film, The J-Team, which the company produced on her DREAM tour. There has been a response, but it's not on me to share, she said at the time. I love my brand, but I think it's forgotten that I'm human sometimes, and that hurts. The following year, Siwa told followers that she had been invited to the 2022 Kids' Choice Awards and implied that it was because of her queer identity. The only year that at its JoJo Siwa didn't get invited to the Kids' Choice Awards is when she comes out and cuts her hair. Sus, at Nickelodeon, wrote one fan on Twitter, who was then retweeted by Siwa. Now, at press time, a number of JoJo Siwa Pride items are available for purchase from Paramount, which owns the Nickelodeon brand. So, while I get it, and I was ready to windmill up in here, it's like, it's hard to know who to actually believe. But then again, look, this is the same one that was up in here talking about how she loved Drag Race, and come to find out she ain't even know who the hell Carson Kressley and Ross Matthews was. And they both judges on Drag Race. So, I don't know what to believe at this point. It's like, well, companies they have a lot of power and influence to be like, well, no, this is further from the truth. We've always been supportive of JoJo's career. We never try to tell her or blackball her from the industry because she came out as a lesbian or whatever the case is. But then JoJo was saying this is her experience. And if this is her experience, are we supposed to believe people's experiences? So I don't know. I guess if I was a judge, I would rule this inconclusive. So I was like, well, that's the same. What do y'all think of this story? Let's turn it into let's get a little shady and be like, are you team Nickelodeon or are you hashtag team JoJo Siwa? Let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Hey, hold on, let me drink some water. Ooh. So where's the weather outside? It is 84 degrees. It's gonna be cloudy. But anyway, okay, I see we got comments. Slow down regarding Xtina. She is the girl of our generation. And Brit, are you watching back on the other stuff? I said I only like a few of her songs. Oh, JoJo? I would know. Oh, you talking about Demi? Oh, I see you said Demi, not the Bow Wow Show. I'm like, was that actually the name of a show? The Bow Wow Show? I'm like, really, Nickelodeon? But then again, they steam that. They do that for the kids. I guess they were trying to do JoJo, Bow Wow, Show. It's like, it's so stupid. But anyway, let's move on to our final topic, which is Eureka O'Hara basically revealing that she is done with Drag Race. And the question remains, do you okay? I was like, oh, wait a minute, what happened to the picture? Okay, so now let's get to the topic. So, Canada's Drag Race, Canada versus the World star Eureka has signaled that she is finally done competing on the franchise after her fourth appearance and elimination. Gone are the days when only Jujubee was a four-time returnee to the RuPaul's Drag Race franchise. As of Canada versus the World's second season, which is currently airing, the list now includes Alexis Mateo and Eureka, with many other queens on round three. Eureka first appeared on season 9 of the flagship franchise in 2017 before leaving due to injury and returning for season 10 the next year. When she made the finale of All Stars 6 in 2021, many fans assumed that would be the last time we saw the Elephant Queen on Drag Race, but now, how wrong we were. She again competed on Drag Race this year, this season on season 2 of Up North spinoff, not Up North, spinoff, Canada Drag, because that's what Southerners refer to New York. A lot of them be like, oh, you live up north? I'm like, up north? Child, it's New York City. We don't do up north. But I guess that's what I refer to. But then Canada's not that, it's like we neighbors almost. So there's that. So they said, though she was recently eliminated after a lip sync against Miss Fierce Delicious, some viewers have already been begging for round 5. But Eureka herself isn't too sure. Now, taking to Twitter, Eureka wrote that she is done competing and is ready to live outside the workroom walls after starring in count 'em 35 episodes over 4 franchises. We're sure we'd feel the same. Well, damn, y'all can count. Shout out to Pink News for this story. One fan encouraged Eureka to give it one last go, referencing Ginger Minge's alleged fourth-time return to the franchise. Oh, it's because the rumors, about her being on All Stars 10. So one person said, I believe you have one more season in you, mother. If Ginger can come back from All Stars 10, you can come back for All Stars 11 or 12. Eureka, however, replied, no, thank you. I'm ready to enjoy my success in this franchise and focus on my health. Never want to close the door entirely. She then added, maybe one day, but not right now. And I think that that's what it pretty much is the fact that you have to give artists a chance to come down from that high and everything. Because it's like they shot, I don't know when they shot Ken. I think they mentioned they shot a couple of months ago. So they shot Canada's Drag Race, Canada versus the World season 2 earlier this year. And when they shot that, it's sort of like, now it's coming out. So it's like you lived it by going through it in real time. Now you're living it again because it's on TV and what people are saying on social media and that sort of thing. So it's sort of like, I need time to step away from the show so that way I can do me. Because also, remember, it wasn't that long ago, she was also doing We're Here over on HBO Max. So I say for her, it's like, yeah, give Eureka the opportunity to be able to get her bearings, go out, actually do a couple of shows, meaning like if she's going to make an appearance at a drag event or, somebody's party, like one of Meatball's parties or so many other drag queens who, puts like parties together and have like drag queens come out and perform and give y'all a show. Eureka can get up there and do her thing, traveling around the world, performing in different clubs and things of that nature. And then when she's done with all of that, then she can consider, you know what, I'm ready for the next season, like All Stars 11 or All Stars 12. So I feel like a lot of times people got to give celebrities or drag performers the grace to kind of just go through that period of it's like, you know what, I miss being on TV. Let me give it another go. Because in the season, she did talk about her battles with addiction and substance abuse. And then, she's currently going through, coming out as a trans woman, her transition and all this stuff. So she's got to get her mindset right. Look, let's see how long it took. It took Gia Gunn years to go through her little period before now she's like, you know what, I'm ready to come back to Drag Race. Now, the fact of whether or not they bring her back because of all the stuff in the past, that's to be determined. But for now, I'd say let Eureka do her thing outside of Drag Race, and then I'm sure a couple of years from now, we will see her back on our TV screens. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Would y'all be here for another go with the Elephant Queen? Let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, so now we have comments. It says she's saying all this now, but if she get on Global All Stars or non-elimination, oh yeah, because I did watch the first 10 minutes, and normally I don't do this. I always like to just watch the show bare bones, like right when it comes on. But yesterday I did watch the first 10 minutes of Global All Stars, and they did say that nobody's going home. But I think what it is nobody's going home for the next 2 weeks because the first two episodes is basically going to be like a talent show type thing. So RuPaul basically chose a couple of girls. I think it's 12 queens up there, right? So they picked 6 queens that are going to actually do the talent show. And then next week, the other girls are going to be able to get up there and do their thing. And I think for those next 2 weeks, nobody's going to get eliminated. And then I think they are going to bring the eliminations in. We'll see. But that's just my overall guess of what it is. Some queens only want to go back if it's not an elimination now. The funny thing was, here's the thing, Drag Race fans, did y'all actually enjoy when there was a non-elimination? Because based off of the comments that the posts and the comments and all that other stuff I was hearing and seeing on social media, I don't think people were liking the non-eliminations. They felt like a lot of the queens checked out, that if a storyline or whatever didn't revolve around them, they really weren't as present as you would be if you're eliminated, because anybody could be up on the chopping block at any moment. So you need that sense of like, what's the word? Like anxiousness. So I think that's basically what it entailed. So I don't know if I necessarily believe that. I mean, the thing is, look, we do know, like the season before, that was one of the main reasons why a lot of girls didn't want to come back on the show, because they were like, especially since Georgia's was the first one that they asked to come on there, and she was basically like, "No, I'm not doing it if y'all gonna be eliminating people." Because first of all, I feel like they opened this Pandora's box by making it be like, well, y'all have to come on the show and y'all got to spend like $100,000 damn near to bring looks and all these different rules and stuff. You got to come to give people a good show for Drag Race. And I feel like the real essence of what drag is about has kind of been lost in a way. Like, I enjoy Drag Race for what it is, it's entertaining, but I feel like we need that thing to make it a good reality show. Like, maybe they need to hire some of them people over there that work at the Challenge. The Challenge been on, like, they're in their 40th season right now. And what I didn't know is that they hired producers that came up with the show and everything. Used to work on soap operas. So maybe what y'all need to do is y'all need to hire some soap people, because soaps are kind of like, there's only like 4 left, except they do have one coming with the all black soap opera that's coming to CBS. That I think is going to replace The Talk, because nobody watches that show. But maybe they can hire some people so that way y'all know how to like not stir up drama, but you know how to bring drama out. But the problem is you get a lot of these queens on here that be worried so much about the online trolldom that y'all don't want to be y'all authentic selves. Y'all be up in there trying to self-produce, and y'all not being y'all real self. It's like, I live for the pressure cooker. I live for the drama. Fuck what everybody on the outside saying. I feel like the non-elimination seasons have the most ass kissing since no one really exactly. So it's like there needs to be some stakes, and there's to be a sense of urgency, and there needs to be. I need to have that feeling of like my stay here is on the line, and I feel like we need to bring that. But maybe they need to change it up in regards of like, okay, so I get it. Y'all be spending all this money on looks, and y'all want to be able to show it all on a stage. But if y'all not going to get eliminated, they need to come up with something better. And I feel like the whole scissor thing didn't work. And then the whole diamond that was supposed to get double the points. Like, what was the point of that? That didn't work for me. So I feel like you could do non-eliminations, but you have to come up with greater stakes in regards to that. So she already done had hers. But anyway, so we're officially at the end of the show. I'll probably be on tomorrow, so tune in for a brand new episode of Chris Samuel Unfiltered. Please hit that like button, that subscribe button. Also, smash that notification, not location. You need to know where I'm going. That notification button, so that way when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Samuel Unfiltered. I'm on my way to the city because I need to go see this damn movie, Alien Romulus. I'm gonna let y'all know how it is. I'm not gonna do a spoiler, but I will give you overall like whether y'all need to go see it or not. So hold on. They said there is a scandal about Big Brother right now that some of the cast this year have been on Dr. Phil and other shows, and I guess one girl is related to Niecy Nash. Well, I have to look into that, but Because I know there's always been some stuff about Big Brother, and then there's tea about The Bachelor, and there's a whole bunch of other stuff that's going on with that, and how there was some drama going on with Strictly Come Dancing, which is over in the UK. It's basically like their version of Dancing with the Stars, and how there was some scandals that was going on with the dance. Well, I think the teachers and the celebrities, and um, what was it? And then I guess they were trying to say how that will trickle down into Dancing with the Stars because Dancing with the Stars is coming in September. Well, you talking about the Kylie track? I heard it. I listened to it yesterday. I actually like it. The song with Bless Madonna. Yeah, I listened to it yesterday. Um, it's different. I will say this. I like it better than My Oh My. Like My Oh My, I feel like it's too filtered. It was like y'all was trying to force that whole TikTok moment. But the fact that she went in and did this song with Bless Madonna, which is like your standard house track, but I feel like it changes up a bit. Like it kind of goes on these highs and lows. And I was like, oh, where's she taking me? Like it was like unpredictable where she was taking me in the direction of the song. So I listened to the new song. I like it. It's on YouTube if anybody need to listen to it. I can't remember the name of it, but I did listen to it. But yeah. And thank you. Are you saying if they knew each other? But we'll find out. I may have to look into that story about the whole thing regarding um Big Brother. But anyway, yeah, let me get up out of here. So I'll be back on tomorrow. If I could, Lord willing, if I could stitch a damn show together at the last minute, because I ain't gonna have time to do all the research and things tonight if I'm gonna be out. And then wait, what? 18-minute full-length version. There's a 18-minute version. Is only available on Beatport for 5 years as Bless Madonna's exclusive contract with Versus. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, let me get up out of here. So, love you all for watching, and we'll tune in tomorrow because I'll be here for Friday to close out the week. So, love you all for watching, and until next time, ciao.